stand tall in the face of tyranny. I want it all on my freedom and liberty. I'll keep my guns, you can keep your security. I'll stand tall in the face of tyranny. I'll stand tall in the face of tyranny. I want it all on my freedom and liberty. I'll keep my guns, you can keep your security. I'll stand tall in the face of tyranny.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. It's your favourite time of week, folks. It's Freaky Friday right here on www.truthfrequencyradio.com. And what a crew I have got lined up tonight. Tonight we've got Johnny Whistles, we've got Joe Joseph, and we've got the one and only Popeye. We're going to do it raw tonight, folks. There's no guest tonight. It's just going to be woo all the way from the Woo crew. So, let's get this lot introduced. Joe Joseph, how are you doing, man?
Hey, man, it is good to be Friday. Let me tell you, 3 hours of talking about some freaky stuff.
Well, before we get into anything, Joe, I think it's quite symbolic that on the day Russia made America enemy number one, that we have resumed our Photoshop war. Yes, that's right, folks. On the social media is going to be flooded with it.
Oh, wait a minute now. Wait just a cotton picking minute. Now, that was just a little motivation for you. That wasn't meant to start a war.
Oh,
come on now.
That's baloney. He's got me tagged as the water boy now. What is that about?
It was, water's very important. As a matter of fact, life cannot exist without water, dude. Very, very important.
You're trying to give me some kind of Russell Brand Messiah complex right now, Joe, because that's not going to work at all. And for your sins in the Photoshop war, I'm going to make you do the chat room tonight, because I know you hate doing that stuff. So you will give all those great listeners who tune in religiously to the Freaky Friday their much loved shout out, Joe.
All right, let's see here. Aussie Anzac. Bethy Change, Cloud, Crazy Tricky, Daryl 6390, David GK, Foswald, Gentleman Skeptic, Harold Ivy Nurse, Johnny Whistles, John Titter was here, Kai Land, Kev Baker Show, Matt D, Max, Meat Dog, Mystical Fairy, Nos Boy, Penelope, The Poopster, Red Sun, Regal Girl, Rushill Brand, good name there, Scott Lopez, what up, dog? Stushy, The Darkness, Tom 58, Wood Wolf, Bottomer, Angel Whispers. Welcome to the chat room.
You done that like a true professional, Joe. You love that. Admit it. That's an addition to your show that you really should think of making.
I tell you what.
Got to be done. But also tonight, folks, we're joined by the Whistler himself. How are you doing, Johnny? You looking forward to your Freaky Friday?
Oh, yeah, Kev, I've missed this. Not had it for a wee while now, so, yeah, looking forward to it, mate.
And it's good to have you back on a Friday, John. You're much missed. And last, but definitely not least, my brother over there in Florida, Popeye. How's it doing? It's good to have some sense on the show for a change instead of that, Joe.
Good evening, Kev. And before we get into anything, I have to ask you, what the hell is Boxing Day? Is it as exciting as it sounds? Like, is it random fistfights in the streets like Gentleman Skeptic proposed? Because that would be awesome.
That's the way it should be. It should be like the Purge, shouldn't it? But no, it's just exactly what it says on the tin. You're full of boxes because of the day before, and you're just throwing them out the house. BS.
So they actually have a day. They actually named the day Boxing Day just for you to throw your crap out?
I honestly don't even know if that's why it's called that, but you would have got a good laugh today. I was showing Joe Boxing Day over here. It's traditionally like our Black Friday kind of thing. We have massive sales, so much so that in the land of austerity, Popeye, our dollar shop, the pound store, it's having a half-price sale. And I'm not even making that up, am I, Joe?
No, not at all. As a matter of fact, when he said that, I was like, damn. I mean, even over here, we don't have sales at the dollar store, the true dollar stores. Now, Dollar General and those aren't real dollar stores. The dollar stores are where, like, things are really just $1.
Literally, everything is $1.
Yeah, you don't see sales there. It's $1. It is what it is. You get what you pay for.
Dude,
and
you're
everybody
paying
knows going in there. Yeah,
Yes.
everybody knows going in there that's basically the way it is.
Yeah, you're
So for
paying
them to-
$1 for whatever you get. Like, don't come out bitching like, man, this is kind of cheap, dude. You
Yeah,
paid
well,
$1
for there to be a sale like that, right, would mean that there are either like a glut of dollar stores or pound stores over there, and the competition's so fierce that they're trying to cut the legs out from underneath everybody.
It's like fast food restaurants. They're popping up everywhere. Isn't they, Johnny Whistles? It's like the subways. Can't turn a corner now without coming across one of these pound stores.
Yeah, pound stores and the charity shops, Kev. Everywhere you look now, even on like main streets, do you know what I mean? Like in Socky Hall Street, you've got pound shops. Do you know what I mean? How can you afford the rates for a pound shop in Socky Hall Street?
Get this. Okay, so again, in my days as a transportation maintenance manager for a large trucking company, one of my customers was a dollar store distributor type of person. But this distributor owned 2 warehouses in China and was getting this stuff for pennies on the dollar. I mean, like, so for if you bought, let's say, a dollar store, that personal care brand deodorant, right? You paid $1 for it. Chances are he paid a nickel for that. That's about what he paid, a nickel to 10 cents per product.
Yeah, that's why they can sell it for $1. And
because they're making a mint.
10,000% profit.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And everybody's like, oh, what a bargain. No, it's not. That deodorant probably has antifreeze in it and other toxic waste.
It's the worst. The only thing that's good, like if you go to the dollar store, a lot of times, like when you go to Dollar General or something, they will have stuff that you would normally find at like Walmart or somewhere else for like certain things. Like if you need like those Glad the freezer containers and stuff, like those things like that, like kitchen-y stuff like that. Usually it's a little bit cheaper. Bath mats and stuff are a little bit cheaper, but only by like $3 or $4. Really, I mean, there's nothing. The bath mat, like you can go to a Dollar General and pay $10 for a bath mat. So technically, It's really a Dollar General. Like if you go to a real crappy ghetto ass dollar store,
like the Dollar Tree.
Yeah, like going in there that like you don't have any expectations when you walk in the door.
No, none.
Okay, like you don't walk in the door thinking it's Macy's. Okay, and if you
absolutely not.
If
you
do,
you're going in for
mistaken.
cheap Chinese crap. You know you're going in there for that. So that's what you get. But you don't understand how these distributors that supply the dollar store and all that, even dollar store itself, probably owns a bunch of factories over there and is getting this stuff at pennies on the dollar to where, I mean, they're making an ungodly profit margin. And today, dollar store is huge.
I think at half the time it's probably containers that have washed up from things like Fukushima and things like that they're just selling off cheap, Joe.
Well, you got that
probably
too.
radiated.
Or
you
they
got
went
that
to
too.
the thrift store.
Here we used to have like Woolworths, McCrory's, the 5 and Dime that used to get all that crap. You know, the near expired crap. There's a couple of national chains here like Ollie's. Ollie's is one of them. But dollar store, no, it's not like that. That's more of like a Big Lots, that type of thing. One of those odd lots type of stores here in America. Dollar store is strictly, for the most part, all Chinese crap. And you know, like none of it's, or most of it's not name brand. You might get some name brand like the candy, but no, not, you know, it's really bad. So I don't know if there's much of a difference between the pound store and the Dollar Tree, but I don't think they could actually get away with doing a sale. People would probably be like, ma'am, I think you have this sign up by mistake. Here, just wanted to give it back to you.
When you actually, I mean, I have to go around there for a walk around this pound store on my patrol. And the amount of people you actually ask here in assistance, how much does this cost? It's a frickin' pound shop. How much do you think it costs, you absolute retard? That's the kind of level of people you get shopping in there.
Yeah, but Popeye's right. You know, like the bath mats, the stuff like that. Even books. Sometimes you can find some books that are normally like $25, and you get them for like $1, $2.
Dude,
Well,
you
the
can
ones
get
they've
like
got in
some
there, it's
quality stuff.
it's
Not
like-
all
Yeah,
of
yeah,
it's crap.
definitely. But you got to be
But
very
you have to,
careful
like-
about what you get.
You have to take your time. You have to go through. You have to look. And I wouldn't just grab stuff off the shelf and be like, "It's only $1." Make sure you know where it's made and like what it's made. Like a lot of that stuff, if you notice, it has like a heavy, like the cheaper the crap they make in China, you can smell like the plastic, and you can smell like the rubber, like depending on what it is that you're getting. Like if it's a bath mat, the rubber backing on it, you can smell it from like a couple of feet away. Like if it stinks like that, and it just you're like, dude, that's probably not good. If it's
Probably
off
not.
gas
Yeah, probably
like
not
that,
so good.
yeah,
One of
you
the
don't want-
toys they were actually selling over here at one point, it was a child's doll. Now, for £1, it was said to come with the superpower of having a flaming pussy. Yep, exactly what I said there, a flaming pussy. Now, it gets worse than that, folks.
Wait, are you talking about taking its cat and setting it on fire? Or are
Well,
you
you
talking
see,
about the doll's
let
cat?
me continue, because somebody went on YouTube and actually opened this up. They unboxed it and showed you what this toy done. Now, to work this toy, and I'm not making this up, I will try and find the video and put it in the chat. You had to tip the doll over so it was on its hands and knees. You then had to lift the skirt up, and then with a match, you lit a firework that was inserted inside. Well, you don't
There
have to
we
use
have
your
it.
imagination.
Oh, just say it. You inserted it inside where the vagina would be on the doll. So
And
if
it was
anatomical-
literally a superpower of a flaming pussy.
But wait,
And it was
excuse me,
at the
how
pound
is this a
store.
superpower for a doll? And what was this, like G.I. Joe's girlfriend?
Are
It
you
was
sure
obvious-
you didn't get that mixed up with the porn store? Did you go in the right door,
no,
dude?
Honestly, dude, because it was the Watchdog. It was like a Watchdog in the UK. There was complaints there. It was obviously rapidly removed, but this was one of the like items they were selling for a time, and I can't remember which one it was. I'm going to dig in here once you take us into
G.I.
some
Joe's
news in a
girlfriend,
moment.
G.I. Jane, and her bazooka shooting pussy. It loads up grenades and ptoom. I mean, really?
Well, I'm
They
going to
thought
find
this
the
was
video,
okay
'cause
for children?
we have to play this. I'm going to find the video. So, Joe, what else is on the agenda for this Freaky Friday?
I'm still trying to get over this.
Wait,
this little
at what
dog.
I'm
point
gonna
do you
find
think
it
this
right
was
now.
Okay, the UK won't let you use butter knives pretty much now, and yet they think this doll is okay. What? Really? Where are the morals? What the?
Putting a jumping jack in the yeah.
Dude, seriously, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, you guys can't have any sharp knives because you might stab each other. But hey, we have this new doll out you might like. I think you guys have your morals really screwed up. Just to let you know.
Tell me about it. And let me tell you something.
Whoa, guys. I have
What?
found it. I have found the video. It's only 3 minutes long, okay? So give me 2 seconds till I turn off the stream. Just got that sorted. Right, listen into this, guys, because this is it here.
Yes, it is.
It's just loading up.
Oh, sure.
Typical. An advert. You got to wait these 5 seconds.
You got 300 meg download.
People who put adverts on their videos, it's disgusting.
Two words. Pop-up blocker.
Woke up in the delightful tap at Penlandu, and I found something that really caught my attention. It's actually a dolly. Now, I'm not really the sort of dolly type of person, but this one caught my attention because it's apparently called Fanny Flambeau, and she's part of the Smokin' Pussies gang. Right? So apparently her weapon of choice is a flamethrower, and seriously, that doesn't really look the type, does she? So I thought I actually really want to find out what this flamethrower she has looks like. Ooh. Instructions. Little pink instructions, that's nice. Here she is. So I don't actually see a flamethrower yet. She's got little pink shoes. Let's stick them on her. Right. So stick them on just to make her look the part. Oh, maybe we just won't. So anyway, what does it say? Made in China for the Togimi Fushita Toy Company, authorised Flamin' Pussies Power Girl merchandise. Fanny Flambeau is the flaming hot leader of the Smokin' Pussy Gang. Special power, shooting flames to vanquish her foes. This must be some Japanese program. Well, obviously to Togima Fushita, it's a Japanese company, so it doesn't really surprise you, does it? To activate a flamethrower, place her face down with her arms outstretched and head in the ground, then raise her thighs above her head as shown. What? Right, so arms outstretched, face down, what the... Okay, that's not dignified, that's not flamethrower, that's vanquishing her foes with sex. Lift her skirt, oh for God's sake, lift her skirt to expose the flamethrower, and light
The commentary is the best
and
part.
maintain a safe distance from the area directly behind her. You don't. Maximum smoking pussy girl power. You don't. It's a toy. You-
He's beside himself.
At this moment, he's taking a lighter to her bum.
As her skirt's gone on fire, I don't know if that's what's supposed to happen. Shit. What the fuck is that about?
And now a Roman
Seriously?
candle is flaming out of her flambeau.
So who does she fight? Like, who's the
Who's the
she,
villain?
Like, is she like G.I. Joe's girlfriend? And like when Cobra attacks, they just take the flaming pussy gang and put them on the top parapet and then open fire? Like, how does that work? Who are they? Who the hell are they fighting that they have to shoot fireworks out of their vaginas? Like, dude, who's your enemy?
Ron
Holy
Jeremy by the
crap.
looks of it.
Well, they didn't get, judging by the fact that it was in the pound store, would tell me that they didn't get that far. They got the superhero down, but it looks like they ran out of money to go with the rest of the story.
It's one of those ideas that was shot down by Hasbro. They were just like, no. And the guy's like, what do you mean, no? This is a brilliant idea. No.
What's wrong with you guys?
God.
I think every household needs a good Fanny Flambeau.
Fanny Flambeau.
Oh my God. How many house fires would be caused by that thing on Christmas morning?
I don't know. There's something serious. I have to tell you, the United States is more messed up than a soup sandwich. There's just no doubt. But the UK, you guys have your own quirky crap going on over there. That's all I can tell you.
He says to a country living under a reptilian monarchy, yeah, you're telling us, Joe.
I mean, just a little
Yeah,
bit.
but didn't he say it was made by the Japanese? Which that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
because
it's the Japanese. It's called Fanny
Yeah, but they do all that crazy crap
dude,
too.
they have vending machines with used little young girls' panties in them, like teenage girls' panties in them, and you can just go up on the street and buy them out of the vending machine. They remember the plastic eggs that like when we were kids, if our mom went to the store and bought pantyhose or something, they would come in those eggs and she'd take the pantyhose and give you the plastic egg and you'd have the hollow egg or whatever, a little container. Well, that's what they sell the panties in over in Japan. You buy them out of a vending machine. So this does not surprise me one bit.
This isn't really a creepy conversation with a guy with a beard like yours, Popeye.
Listen to this.
Oh,
Says
sorry,
the guy
it's
that
Keith.
drives the
It's not-
windowless white van.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I thought we were on the hanger. Sorry, Popeye.
Kev drives a windowless white van, and he's going to criticize me about my beard.
You know, I'm too busy fetching water for the likes of Joe Joseph and
I saw that, by the way. I saw the picture, the
Steam.
first shots of Photoshop World War II.
You know what the worst of it is, Popeye? I mean, have you got the heart to tell him he's actually crap?
Oh, wow. So not only did Germany just invade Poland, but then it took a dump on Poland's front lawn after it did, and was like, "You suck." That's basically what just happened. So Photoshop World War II, game on.
Unleash the Kraken.
Yeah.
Why? Wait a minute. Now, why does it have to go that far? I'm just asking.
It. We're children.
I didn't start anything. I'm just motivating you.
I can see this, by the way, because I already know, like, I'm not involved, and somehow I'll be like the United States. right, in World War II, somehow I'll get Pearl Harbored, okay, out of nowhere.
So you want involved then? You just don't want to tell anyone.
Okay, so anyway,
There's an
does this
invite
sound
to-
eerily similar to one Kenneth Webb? Do we not remember? Oh, come on, guys! I want to get in. I want to get in.
Oh, remember, he was begging to get involved because he was
I
like,
done one of him, and he just totally shut up after that. I done him with all his legs wrapped around his head, and there was no comeback.
Well, it's hard to do top that.
he was fighting internet problems at the time. He might not have seen it. Fair enough.
Oh, he did.
So-
He did.
So I got this.
What else is on the agenda?
Well, I've got this thing about, since we're talking about how messed up the UK is, the rampant pedophilia and the flaming pussy dolls and everything like that. Well, we've got the doctors. See, over here, they've been told that they have to question now, well, Mr. Popeye, is there any guns in the house? It's the latest thing here in the United States. Over there, it's, patient number 14297. Yeah, they're overweight now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're told to report patients who put on weight to the National Health Service.
Well, see, that's just Britain. It gets a whole lot crazier when you enter the realm of the EU, because on the 18th of this month, they actually came out and classed that obesity is now a disability.
Really? So everybody can go on the dole?
Oh, how to make an entire army of people dependent on the state in
You
one
just got to get fat.
Yeah. Well, you can't say that because you'll be discriminating against somebody disabled.
I'm not, though. I mean, what if I wanted to be one of them? What if I aspired?
So now you guys are going to look like, fat Americans. By the way, something else I didn't see in Amsterdam, fat people.
You didn't see fat people, did you? Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I mean, and when if there was somebody that was like a little overweight or thick, they were proportioned well with it. Even if they were a little thicker or whatever, it wasn't like the obese people you see here in America.
Yeah, Popeye, in times of austerity, that heroin chic looks in.
No, I mean, true, but no, they were normal. I mean, these people ate tons of crap food. It's Amsterdam. You've been there, greasy fried foods, all sorts of foods from all over the place. Dough, pizza, waffles, donuts, whatever you can get your hands on around the place, right? But yet, there's a lot of people that are in really good shape, or at least they wear it well, right? Whereas here in America, you didn't see a stomach falling over someone's belt out of their shirt, or someone that's like 300 pounds wearing the spandex pants that a girl that's 100 pounds would be wearing, and proud to be wearing it because, I show off my 300 pounds.
That is a total American thing right there, dude. No doubt.
You don't see that over there. I mean, there wasn't people that were just like sloppily disgusting. And I'm not making fun of you if you're overweight. You know what I mean? Like when you go to Walmart at 3:00 in the morning and you see people that are just like society has gone down into the sewer, and they're happy about it. They don't care about what they look like or their health or anything. And you don't see that over there. And it was something that really hit me. I was like, wow, there's no fat people here. I mean, there were people that might not have been in shape or might have had a belly, but there was no like obesely fat people there. And it's because they don't have the same crap in their foods that we do. Now, I'm not saying the EU and, the socialism that goes on in most of these European countries is great. All I'm saying is they don't allow the crap in their food, and they don't have morbidly obese people in their countries.
Popeye, I can back you up 100% on that. I was actually shocked at the size of some of the people I seen when I was in the States. And I'm not saying that to be cruel or anything like that, but it was something that I personally wasn't used to. Yeah, we get big guys over here, big women and that, but some of the shapes that I seen over there, just wow. Absolutely wow.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like walking around there, and you see Amsterdam's full of people from all over the world, right? So you see people from all over the world, and there the food just tastes different because they're not allowed to put all these hormones and all these fillers and all this crap in the food. Like maybe we should take a note on that aspect from them. I'm just saying, they don't seem to have morbidly obese people, and they eat some of the same foods we do, except they don't have all the crap in it. Maybe if we took the crap out, you wouldn't have the obese people, because that's what that stuff is. Your body can't process these fillers, so if it can't process it, it means it doesn't crap it out. So if it doesn't, there's only two ways it gets rid of something you ingest. You either pass it when you go to the bathroom, or it stores it in your fat cells. And that's what all that crap is. A lot of people, they're just overeating. Well, they might be eating a lot, but it's also what is in the food that they're eating. If your body can't process it, it has to put it either processes it and passes it, or it stores it in the fat cells. And all of that's what all that crap is.
Nice. Popeye goes fecal early on Freaky Friday. So anyway, folks, coming up after the break, we are going to get freaky this Friday. We're going to open up the phone lines. Got a lot of science news to get through tonight and a whole heap of woo. So I'm sure you'll be looking forward to that. And Joe, Freaky Friday, no guest. It's going to be different this week, man.
Yeah, sure will. But you know what? It's all good in the hood because we're going back to the way it was.
No slippers.
Yep, that's right. No slippers tonight.
We're just going to leave it in Johnny Whistle's hands.
That's all right. Johnny Whistle's
got
good
some
hand.
good woo for later on.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You've been looking into some megalithic sites, I believe, Whistles.
Yeah, incredible. In Siberia, this thing. And it's just mind-blowing, to be honest.
Absolutely, and of course we were meant to have James Swagger on tonight. He'll be coming up in a few weeks. Next week, next Freaky Friday, we've got the good doc, Dr. Brooks Agnew. Don't miss that. We'll be coming up after these short messages. Don't go anywhere.
You are now tuned into the Truth Frequency.
We are TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Welcome back, everybody. Joe Joseph here. Freaky Friday on Truth Frequency Radio, truthfrequencyradio.com, along with Kev Baker, Johnny Whistles, and Popeye. And let's get into something a little more on the science side of things. Certainly more on the conspiratorial side of things.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Cloaking devices.
Oh, I think they're cool.
I think they're way cool. Of course, you know, we all remember them from the Klingons. The bird of prey. She's cloaked. Ha-ha.
That show on the History Channel where they actually talked that they were doing it, and all of a sudden the show got yanked because they started talking about like weather modification, cloaking devices and stuff.
Yeah.
They showed how they could use it, and also the show was like 3/4 of a season on the History Channel, and then it bloop.
So anyway, this the Business Standard, businessstandard.com, just put out a story. New illusion coating is what they're calling it. Hides objects from detection. I want this illusion coating so bad. It says researchers have developed a new illusion coating that could hide things by making them look like something else or even completely disappear. Previous attempts at cloaking used a simple metasurface layer. They were restrictive to very small objects, said Zihao Zhang, postdoctoral fellow in electrical engineering at Pennsylvania State University. Zhang and Douglas H. Werner developed a metamaterial coating with a negligible thickness that allows coated objects to function normally while appearing as something other than what they are, or even completely disappearing. How the hell do we get our hands on that shit?
You can throw this over yourself and make yourself something that isn't there, so you could like appear as a file, like a
well,
fax
it's a
machine.
coating, but it's a coating. Yeah,
It would reflect. Usually, what they do is they
It bends the light, does it not, Popeye? You've got like a receptor.
yes they base it off of like Predator's active camouflage in the movie Predator.
Well, I think they were hiding that in plain sight, to be quite honest with you there.
Well, they call it active camouflage because it changes to wherever the environment is. Basically, all it is like the way they've worked on it is the suit or whatever the material, it reflects the light around it.
Yeah,
so that way you kind of blend in, just like Predator did. You blend in, but if you look close, you can kind of almost see a little bit of that Predator type shimmer.
Obviously, seen the same video as I've seen, and I think it's a Russian military one. There's a tank, and there's this alleged cloaking going on, and like you say, you see the shimmer going along the kind of horizon, and there is something, whether it's CGI or the real thing, I don't know, but something definitely gets into this tank, and it's one of the most famous videos out there on YouTube on this subject, but whether it's real or not, I don't know.
Well, they did it for the History Channel. If you go, the show was called That's Incredible, and it was only on for like 3/4 of a season, maybe one season at the most. But then it was ripped off, and they talked about weather modification. They did an episode about cloaking devices. They did a bunch of stuff about a bunch of all this type of scientific wooery, if you will. And one of the shows was all about cloaking devices, and they showed how, and they showed the scientist that was working on it, and they interviewed him, and they showed him and his assistant. She takes this like sheet, and she holds it up, and basically, I don't know if they were projecting onto it with a projector at the time, or if they were able to use the full on like light bending properties of the material at the time, but
Yeah.
when she held it up, she disappeared. She blended in right to the surroundings. You couldn't see her. And then when she dropped it, she was standing there. And then she'd pull it back up, and you couldn't see her because it was a solid sheet. But around the edges of the sheet, you could just about see that like Predator-style shimmer. So like you could still kind of see with active camouflage if you know what to look for. It doesn't 1 bazillion% cover you, but it covers you more than enough that the average person, if they're not looking, or if you move slowly or quietly enough, you could infiltrate a perimeter very easily in that stuff.
No doubt. Oh, yeah.
That's what the military wants it for.
Of course. And if you want to learn more about this, there's some peer-reviewed works published in the Journal of Advanced Functional Materials. So if you go and search Journal of Advanced Functional Materials, you can actually find more information on this illusion coating, and that this is actual stuff. And actually, it makes you wonder if this stuff is like it is, then why aren't they using it in the military now? Or dun dun dun, are they?
Already.
Exactly.
Please. Why do you think when they're like, oh, we're only going to send 100 guys in, that'll take care of it? Really?
Yeah, right.
How are you only going to send 100 dudes in, and that's going to take care of like 10,000 people? Well, don't worry, we got it. Well, maybe because they're using new technology. I mean, go look up new technology being used in Iraq, or new military technology tested in Iraq. You'll see when we invaded Iraq, like not only the stuff that they openly admitted to, but there was stuff that they didn't admit to. Whenever these companies would come out with a weapon, the Pentagon would be like, "Whoa, we need to test it on the field first." Well, I mean, hell, we're at war. Ship it over to Iraq.
I mean, Popeye, one of the first things you actually launched, or one of the operations you launched in Iraq, if I'm not mistaken, was called something like Operation Nibiru, and it was to go and actually secure some of the stuff.
Oh, that was the
museums.
Special Forces. The Rangers went and blew the doors off the Baghdad Museum, and they went and actually took the stone Sumerian tablets that were in there, and some statues and stuff, including a statue. There's a picture of it. There's multiple pictures on the internet, but it's a humanoid female, or a reptilian humanoid female, breastfeeding a full human baby. Just like the stories of the Announaki and all the stuff from ancient Sumer talk about, right?
It's not even just there, Popeye, because you can go to India as well, and you get stories of the Nagas, and that again is these reptilian beings. And then closer to your own continent, just go down to the Mayan temples, and you can see like plumed serpents and all their symbology.
Quetzalcoatl, right? He was a winged serpent that could fly. I mean, they're all reptilian. That's why I tell people David Icke didn't come up with the reptile thing. Like, he's the one that put his name out there because, he gave voice to that idea again, right? Or he gave some teeth to that idea, as it were. But he didn't come up with that. Like, people think, oh, he came up with that in his basement. No. It's not like what about the Zulus? Like Credo Mutwa. He talks to that dude. He goes and interviews him. If you listen, you have to actually sit and listen to the whole interview. It's like 3 or 4. Actually, I think there's like 6 hours of it. I think there's 2 of them. So like 3.5 hours.
Is that not the Chittahuri or something like that?
Yeah. They call them the Chittahuri. And if you actually watch the Avengers movie, right? What was the name of the invading alien force that was coming through the portal from another dimension to come in and destroy the planet? The Chittahuri. I couldn't make this up. Like, what made them choose that name? You're like, what made you choose that name of all names? Like, what are the chances? I want the statistics people out there, the mathematicians, to figure that one out.
Well,
what are the chances on that, Kev?
It's Freaky Friday, right? Let's go here. I mean, what do you think? Do you think these beings, these creatures, are still actually controlling the planet right now? Do you think they're even still here.
I could think there could be their blood, I don't think the Anunnaki are physically here. I think, well, aside from their blood lineage of whatever was left, I think for whatever reasons they left the planet long ago, but their blood lineage is here. And I think that psychosis that like these people have, like, we're in charge, we are the chosen ones, blah, that's why they want to be like God.
That's why they did engineer them, because when the Anunnaki went away, if you're to believe all the stories, then they needed somebody who was going to look after their creation. So they kind of tweaked the DNA a little bit, make it a little bit more like theirs, and then left them in charge. And that's why you see these asshats now so determined to carry out incest, because they don't want any of our not-so-pure, less Anunnaki blood in their system.
I think there's a little bit of demonic possession going on, too, no doubt, dude. Well, look at these assholes.
You have all of that. You have you have like the interbreeding and all that stuff, but like when you look at what's going on, these people, like they always say, everybody's like, well, they want to be God, they're trying to be God, and it gets into the whole religion argument, and everybody gets sidetracked with that. They're trying, like, even if you believe in the Anunnaki, like I'll make this perfectly clear to everybody that's listening to the Woo Fest right now, okay? Even if you believe in aliens, you still believe in God, because something had to create them. Their soul, their essence had to come from somewhere, right? So I believe it all comes from the same spot. The problem is, back in the day, the more primitive people saw the Anunnaki as gods because they could come down, they had the technology, they knew things, so they were godlike to the beings that were here, okay? So when you see these Illuminati D-bags and they're like, I want to be a god, they're not trying to be God with a big G, although they'd really like, I guess, maybe aspire to be that. They're trying to be God with a little g to a certain extent, and they'll tell you this, but some people, they'll think, well, God with a little g is like me getting right with myself. No. You might think that, but the Illuminati think God with a little g to them is becoming like these Anunnaki, becoming like the gods that were here before. That's what they want. That's why they want to have this mergence with machinery, and they want to become, like the Terminator robots, and they want to be able to
the immortals. Yeah, they're immortal.
Because they want
to be gods.
They want to go back to like, we are from gods and we will go back to the stars. Oh, like I swear to God, they have the same mindset that every psychopath, every, like B-rated science fiction movie we grew up watching has. That's the mentality these people have. They are insane. And a lot of it's because, hundreds of years of banging your relatives, that seems to have a problem with the DNA line. You know what I'm saying? It seems to cause a problem.
Nice.
That's putting it a subtle way.
Well, there's a reason us lower class people know well enough that you have to marry outside of the family, geniuses. So who's really the lower class ones? I mean,
you're saying
you guys are shagging your own relatives and then acting like you're all royal and pompous. Really?
In the UK, they're trying to make that the norm. Not so much now, but just a few years ago, we had politicians actually pushing for the laws of incest to be watered down. So long as there was no physical harm came to the child, then whose business is it? And that's not me saying that. That was Harriet Harman, our Home Secretary.
That's just wrong, dude. I'm sorry. Like, that's just wrong. Like, there's a reason, and I'm not saying, like, you could make it illegal or whatever, but the reason it's wrong is because humans realized at a pretty long time ago, we have to marry outside of the bloodlines. That way it keeps disease and like birth defects and things like that at bay. It allows the DNA to kind of mix. I mean, even the royals knew that. That's why they had to bring Diana in, because they needed, some non-reptilian DNA. And their evil was starting to show through. They needed an injection of fresh outside DNA that wasn't so close to the bloodline, that's why they brought her in. Anybody that researches that it's a well-known fact. They do this.
She even called herself the Royal Mare because she appreciated the fact she was only there for her DNA. Now, I'm glad you brought up Diana, because this reminds me of a story I came across today. And Popeye, I know for a fact that you yearn to find out what it smelt like just at the moment Diana died.
Oh, my.
Because if you did yearn that, Dutch scientists are recreating the deaths of some of the world's most famous personalities by reconstructing their last moments using scents and sounds. It goes on to say in this article from physics.org, you can't honestly make this up, from the sweet smell of Jackie Kennedy's perfume mingled with the scent of John F. Kennedy's fresh blood, to Whitney Houston's last drug-fueled moments in a bath in a Beverly Hills bathtub. Scientists in Breda University say they offer visitors a unique, if somewhat dark, historical snapshot. And it goes on to say here, to find out, visitors with a sense of the morbid are invited to lie in a series of 4 metal boxes similar to those found in a morgue. And what they do is they play music relevant to the time era and news clips, and also flood the box full of the smell of the relevant death that you want to experience. What the hell is going on? How many people have sat out there and thought, oh, you know what? I'd really love to know how it smelt when they died.
Just strictly scientific. Probably most people in academia. That's basically.
I'm out, ladies and gentlemen. I'm out. Okay, I'm punching my ticket. I'm going to the moon to live with David Icke and the reptiles. Okay, I'm out. I'm gonna go live on the dark side of the moon. Peace. This planet is shot. Okay?
It is. It's gone. Yeah.
Seriously, what is wrong with people? Like, I study murder. I study true crime. I study serial killers. I've had, researchers and stuff on my show, investigators, cold case investigators, talking about serial killers and stuff. I researched the Kennedy assassination. I have never once ever been like, Kev, stick me in a metal box and get me some smells of death. Because I haven't smelled death ever enough in my life. Ladies and gentlemen, death does not smell pretty. Take it from someone that smelt it. Take it from someone that smelt it in the air on 9/11.
Well, Papa,
okay? It's not pretty.
If you're interested to know in the deaths of Kennedy, Princess Diana, Whitney Houston, or Muammar Gaddafi, it's Muammar Gaddafi, you can actually smell Gaddafi when he died. Hillary Clinton must be absolutely queuing up for that one. But yeah, for 5 minutes, you can sit in there and experience that. What? Who funds this crap?
Dude, seriously, like, at what point is someone you have to be in Skull and Bones? I mean, when you said laying in a metal casket, I'm like, what is this? Like, somebody picked this up from these idiots laying in caskets and Skull and Bones and
they're
rubbing one out?
The morgue experience.
Why?
I don't know, man.
Why? Like, what is wrong with people? Well, I'm fixated on death. Why? Think about that. Sit back and think about why you like death so much. Well, I don't know. I guess because it's in the media so much. Oh, so maybe the media wants you to fixate on death. Why is that? Why is there a pop song that's a hit with all the youngsters called Die Young? Where they talk about dying young, and it's pretty much the lyrics of the song. There's not many of them. Most of it is just die young. We're gonna die young. Yeah, we're gonna party. We're gonna die young. And basically, the video of it was Kesha and all of her bimbet dancers and their friends dancing around at a party, and the cops come in and raid this barn, and they all pull guns and go out in a shootout. Basically,
she's now doing one of her managers for putting her through countless rape ordeals, I believe, Popeye. And, of course, she's the one that came out and said that her vagina is possessed.
She also drinks her own pee.
Nice.
Kev, I was going to have a glass of water, nice cold glass of some fresh water. But
would you like me to fetch that for you, Popeye?
No, I'm just going to go pee into a bottle and drink it instead because I heard Kesha does it, so I guess it's pop culture-y to do. But, honestly, I could bash the people, but I don't. There are people out there who just bash the individuals. I feel sorry for people like that because I understand what they're going through on a much deeper level. I mean, Kesha herself is just a puppet, right? They want you to be mad at her. Oh, that stupid little bimbo whore. Who does she think she is telling my kid to die young? It's not Kesha, genius. She's being told you must sing these lyrics. In fact, I believe she even said that about that song, that she was forced. She didn't really want to sing that song, and they told her you had to. And we all know what they do. We all know what mind control victims go through. So when I see people like her or Britney Spears or Lady Gaga, I feel actually some level of sympathy for them.
Well, Gaga, she was involved with the same management, or this guy, Dr. Fox, I think his name is. He writes the songs for all these puppets, like you say, all the bigger ones. Katy Perry, the ones who adorn themselves in all the symbols of the Illuminati. But Lady Gaga, she had come out previously and said she had been raped in her time in the music industry, never named anyone. But Keisha basically named names. Now this Dr. Fox guy, at the same time as being on trial for raping Keisha, he's now counter-suing her for naming him as Lady Gaga's rapist. And I think it just gives you a really, really good snapshot into what that seedy world is actually like. We played Corey Feldman's interview again the other night, and I'll never get tired of playing what that guy has to say, because he lays it out. Hollywood, the music industry, you really have, I mean, you hear these people saying they sell their souls. It's a trade-off they have to make. I don't think they literally mean they bow down to Satan and offer up their soul.
No, but they end up giving away a piece of their essence, their soul, their
Definitely.
innocence. And especially when you're a child. And you're right, I've played the audio as well from Feldman. And it's powerful because he's like, look, Hollywood has a huge problem. There's pedophiles all over the place and everybody knows it, but nobody wants to address it.
You know, I think, Popeye, this kind of ties into the royal thing as well, because there's an element of sex magic involved in all of this. From the raping of children.
Oh, well, it's all connected to different, like, you know, secret societies and then little cults here and there and all this stuff. What they do is they make the general behavior of it pop culture-ish in a certain subculture itself, right? So, like Hollywood, if you consider Hollywood and like you know, the movie stars and stuff and the entertainment people that live there, like its own little subculture, they'll make a certain type, the people that want to, you know, push a certain type of agenda, they'll make some of what they do, some of their sick behavior, they'll make it like normal, they'll normalize it, they'll make it pop culture-ish. So everybody's doing it, it doesn't look weird if you're doing it out in public. And then if you take it to a bit of a different level, people won't look at you like, oh, you're a psycho. They look at you like, oh, well, he might go to the extreme a little bit, but hey, the guy does a good job and he's a good leader, or he's good. You see how easy it is to accept something when it's slowly ratcheted up and it's made to be pop culture-ish and cool? That's why it's cool to be Satanists now. That's why it's cool. And you know what I mean, the difference between Satanists and Luciferians, and you could get into all this different debate, but you know what I mean. The kids, the cultic stuff, the Illuminati symbolism, that now that's suddenly cool. You know, 20 years ago, they would never have put, when I was a kid, they wouldn't have put that on clothing. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. You didn't find clothing like that. Now, it's cool. Why? Well, because Jay-Z sells T-shirts that have stuff like that on it. So, you know, I want to be baller like Jay-Z. I'm going to wear the Illuminati shirt now.
And people who think that he's this master Illuminati, he's just a puppet, the same as the rest of them. Okay, a higher level puppet, but a puppet all the same. And Johnny, you're from a generation a bit older than me. I mean, you'll remember films back in the day. Were they as replete with this symbology back then, or is this more of a common fad that we see now? Because I know you like to look out for these things in the films as well.
Well, in some of the films, do you know what I mean, there was maybe some of that, but in the music industry, Kev, there was nothing like what it is today. It's so in your face now.
But even the music industry, you used to get like protest songs and political kind of songs, but even, where's all that kind of movement now? All that's kind of gone. And the world we live in now, surely that should be coming to the forefront, and that shows you how controlled it is.
Dude, look what they did to Tupac. Okay, again, I'm almost finished editing it. I'm gonna air it in the next week or so. Okay, I did an interview with an author named John Potash, and he put together a book about the death of Tupac Shakur. He spent like 18 years writing this book, and Tupac got into the gangster rap culture, like, you know, as a quote unquote gangster rapper, but he did it to infiltrate it because he was actually an old school Black Panther, not this new school crap, but the old school ones, and so were his family. He was trying to stop the you know, that gangster rap thug mentality from being ingrained into the black community, because the Black Panthers and a lot of people in the black community and black activists back then knew what was going on. They were calling it out. They knew that that whole community as a whole was being subverted, and they were trying to do it through many different ways, including gangster rap. And Tupac got into that to try to stop it. Why do you think he was the only one hit in the car? You know, Big Suge Knight, the size of a Mack truck, and Tupac, that weighed about 95 pounds to, you know, 100 pounds soaking wet, right, next to him, and he's the one that get hits with all the bullets. But it's a random drive-by. Sure. Who was doing the shooting? Carlos Hathcock? I mean, he's the only person in the world I could think that would be able to pull that off and hit one person at a random drive-by like that.
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Well, no, I mean Carlos Hathcock. Carlos Hathcock was actually like a Marine Corps sniper legend. They called him White Feather. So like he's the only guy I could ever think of. And by the way, he tried to pull off the same shot that Oswald supposedly pulled off. And you know what he said? Because he worked at Quantico after he got out of the Marine Corps. Like after he continued there as a trainer. And they set up the whole thing like Dealey Plaza. And Hathcock, again, this guy was called White Feather. He was a legend to snipers worldwide. Just look him up, okay? This guy, White Feather, couldn't do the shooting. And you're going to tell me that somebody that's described as the Marines would say Oswald had Maggie's drawers, which means he couldn't shoot too well. And this guy's supposedly going to pull off 3 shots in 6 seconds with a piece of crap bolt-action rifle that was known as the humanitarian rifle? I doubt it.
And
sorry,
Popeye,
don't get me going on JFK.
Now that you're loosely associating yourself with my woo crew here on a Freaky Friday, I've got a mission for you. I really hope you accept it. Now that we're on this JFK topic, I would love for you to get your good friend, the wonderful Judith Baker, to join us one Friday if she could. Because not only the JFK stuff that she goes into, that woman is a wealth of knowledge.
Oh, she is. I've spoken to Judith a bazillion times. Actually, she just emailed me the other day to check up on me and see how I was doing. She got a chance to meet my wife. Judith's a cool woman. She's actually very smart. She actually just wrote another book, too. It's called David Ferry, Mafia Pilot. She talks about David Ferry. That's the guy that Joe Pesci played in the movie JFK. If you go watch the movie, that's the guy who his character was. He's a real person, and he was actually connected to the whole cancer, them doing the weaponized cancer thing. But they don't really touch on that in JFK, except Oliver Stone was smart. He knew he wouldn't get away with putting all that in there. So what he did was he mentions it ever so slyly when they find Ferry dead. They go to his apartment and they're talking about Ferry and what's in there, and they talk about the fact that he had a ton of white lab mice and he must have been doing some experiments, and they said he was trying to cure cancer or something, and that was it. That was all they talked about. But that's actually what Judith Baker and Dr. Alton Oxner and Dr. Mary Sherman, she's the one from the book Dr. Mary's Monkey. You got to read that too. There's actually 3 books you got to read now. You got to read Judith's book, which is Me and Lee. I still have a couple autographed copies left over on Federal Jack, by the way, if anybody wants them, from the 50th. They're signed from her. You got to read Me and Lee, Dr. Mary's Monkey, and then you got to read David Ferry, Mafia Pilot. You'll have a better understanding.
This is the Truth Frequency Radio Network. We are TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
Hello, everybody. It's hour number 2 of Freaky Friday right here on Truth Frequency Radio, truthfrequencyradio.com. I'm Joe Joseph, along with Kev Baker, and we got Popeye, and we got Johnny Whistles.
You know what, Joe? I done a perfect bringing us back there, but it would help if I didn't mute up.
I was like, and okay, better hop in there.
I was actually getting ready to kick you right in the stones for cutting me off, but then I looked at the mute button and thought, that will explain it.
Yeah, we didn't hear anything.
Before we get into anything else, so we've got the phones open, folks. So hour 2, we've got the phones on. That's 1-866-37-TRUTH. We want you to phone in with your woo this Freaky Friday as well. Just before the break there, that was getting really, really good stuff, probably because Joe had left the conversation. But Joe, let's come back to you now. The chemistry's good.
Touche, biatch.
Oh, yeah.
Touche.
I got some woo for you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Paranormal. Let's go down the paranormal woo hole. Dabu 7 in the paranormal.
Illuminati.
Illuminati. I can't even do it the way you do it. You really have this.
I
I really honestly think that you're Dabu 7. I'm going to start this conspiracy theory. I think Kev Baker is Dabu 7. Anyway.
Well, if you notice, neither of us will allow our ears to be seen in the same photograph. Not even for a microsecond.
Very true. It's in the ears. Anyway. Paranormal. So I know that you guys have like Joe. I know you believe in spirituality, and I guess you would consider demons or whatever. But do you believe in ghosts? Like when people see things here, they say that they have hauntings.
Yeah.
It's not as plain and simple as you have a ghost in your house. There's levels to it. It could be a poltergeist, which is actually an entity that's created by an individual in the house that has abilities, and they probably don't know it. And it's usually emotions in that person that will actually create a poltergeist. So poltergeists actually aren't like in the movie where they were dead people coming up out of the ground. It's actually not like that. With Preacher Cain and all that. No, it's not like that. But yes, there are spirits and stuff like that. There's different levels. Now that I've thrown that out there, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts, Joe? Do you believe in ghosts at all? Do you believe it? Because I could go down a few avenues here with you, but I want to kind of like set the basics first. So
Yes.
okay, like all forms of it, or just only certain types? Are you open?
I'm open to anything.
Okay.
To discount something when I can't tell for a certainty? No. I what do you want me to tell you? I'm not. I mean, regardless of what we believe, doesn't change the truth, right? So you have to be open to everything. If we don't know, if it's an unknown, yeah, man,
it's an
I'm
unknown.
Right there
unknown.
I've got a bit of a strange take on it, really.
Go ahead.
Do you really?
I think a lot of hauntings are residual energy. And what I mean by that is if you look at
like shadows or like imprints.
I think the properties of stone, some of the stone that can be in a building.
Quartz.
Yeah, that can actually, if there's how would you put it? A traumatic enough event or something.
It puts off a lot of negative energy, and the quartz would suck it up, and it would record
Kind of like would you say it's almost like, on a hard drive, you can erase something, but there's still an image of it. There's still an image of it there in the background somewhere.
Picture you picking up that ghost image, but it's because your eyes and your brain, our bodies, our DNA structure is actually a receiving antenna and a transmitting antenna. So,
because here's the thing, Popeye.
If we pick up that energy, I totally agree, Kev, that you are correct that a lot of that stuff that's one of the forms of quote unquote hauntings is residual energy hauntings.
Well,
don't derail the beard.
The alternative to that is the fact that it's quite depressing when you think about it, because then it suggests that when we die, we're actually stuck in this shithole for eternity. And that really has to be a depressing thought.
Nah.
The time, especially when you look at things like the Ouija board, these are, Joe would call them demonic, whatever. They're bad energies, and it's something from some other dimension just outside ours, and they will hook into whatever it is they know will actually catch you. It'll be a relative.
That's why you can't trust. That's why you can't trust what you hear and what you see in those.
You shouldn't be playing with. All I know is A, whenever you guys want, there's a caller. B, you shouldn't be playing with Ouija boards. That is no joke. You should not be playing with Ouija boards, and whether it's with 5 people or if you're doing it by yourself, that's like drinking by yourself. Bad idea. Okay,
Bad idea.
Don't do either of them. Okay.
What do you think, guys? Will we bring the caller on right now?
Bring the caller on.
Okay, let's go for it. Caller, you are live this Freaky Friday. How are you doing?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. My nickname on chat is Meat Dog, but my name is Mike. And I posted this link on there earlier. I don't know, maybe we're past that topic of crazy toys from Dollar Store, but I came across this article on one of my websites. Apparently, this little girl, she's like 5 or 6 years old, her mom bought her this toy, and it's called a magic wand, but if you put on the on switch, it makes a sound like this demonic laughter, and it just sounds hideous. And then the little girl, there's like this little mirror on the toy, and she peeled off this paper-like mirror off the front, and it's a picture of like a kid with a demonic grin slashing her wrist. It's just, I'll post it again in case y'all want to look at it.
I know what you're talking about. Weird. I saw this the other day. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I've heard of this one, Popeye. That is some sick stuff right there.
Yeah, and so I don't know. I just think that they're. I saw this one. So I just think the powers that be and I'm a Christian, and I believe that there are demonic entities, and I think that I'm sure you've seen the corporate logos of where they have a demonic type of logo, 666 in it, or all kinds of different companies. So it's like they're telegraphing that to each other, hey, we're in on the game of the satanic game. Now I can probably find this on YouTube for you later on, or maybe some other time if you want me to. But there's this video of Sarah Palin at this fundraiser event, right? And they had one country star. I can't think of his name right now, but he's basically kind of a one-hit wonder where he has this patriotic song, "I'm proud to be an American." And so he's on stage singing it. And so you get Sarah Palin and her daughter holding her little kid. And there's Madame Rothschild in her light blue suit on stage. And what the heck is she doing on there? And they're right in the middle of the song. Sarah Palin raises her right hand and does the Diablo sign with the two outside fingers pointed up. And her daughter's looking at it like, oh, well, there's Mom again. It's just really, really bizarre.
And Mike, it's quite annoying when they try and tell you that that's a sign for some Texas football team or something like that. We all know what sign they're throwing up there. It's the Baphomet. It's in your face. But, Popeye, what do you make of all that?
Well, I mean, some people throw it up and they don't know what they're doing. Supposedly, the way they're holding it, it's 3 6s. If you look at your hand, you can put your hand in the same position and move it around. But when people keep fearing 666, 666, 666, like, stop it. Stop it. It doesn't mean 666. Oh my God, the Omen child. Kill him. It's Damien. No, stop it, people. Like your ignorance of what actually it means is what causes a lot of this fear. Okay, that really feeds a lot of the problem. 666 is nothing more than base level thinking. It's us, the number of the beast, and the beast is us. Do you understand? Okay, we're base level thinking. What you see right now is the beast. What man has become. People killing each other on Black Friday because of a cheap VCR. The guy on the ground is having a friggin' heart attack or a seizure, and he's dying. But let's step over him because the plasma TV in front of me is on sale, or I might get the last Xbox before the guy behind me. Okay? We're the beast. Base level thinking. Everybody needs to stop fearing it and look at it and realize what it is and what we've become. Because then we can get out of it. The first part of stopping a problem or overcoming a problem, like a drug addiction or an alcohol addiction, is admitting there is a problem. So maybe we have to admit there is a problem first, which would be going, okay, yeah, mankind has been brought down to its lowest. Maybe it's time we pulled ourselves up by our bootstraps and carried on smartly. Just saying.
Well, Popeye, the ambassador, who we've had on from the Red Dragon family, and who I can promise the listeners is coming back in the next few weeks, he was saying to us that the answer to 666 is, is it 555 or 777? But he was basically turning it around. And although I think a lot is put into these numbers that shouldn't be, at the same time, these illuminated ones, they know what it's all about.
They understand the numerology. They understand gematria. They understand all of this. That's why there's so much disinfo put out there. And people go, well, I don't understand. How come if these guys are telling the truth, how come they're not offed? Because there's some people that do tell the truth, and there's no point in offing them anymore because it's 2014, and with the internet and everybody looking now, it's not as easy as it used to be. And let's just be honest. If they really want to kill you, they'll kill you, i.e. Michael Hastings into a tree, right? So if they really want to take you out, I don't care what anybody says, they killed him. So, if they really want to take you out, they'll just take you out. There's a bazillion ways to do it. But there's other ways to go about it. And there's so much, the other stuff that's out there, most of it is out there and they don't get messed with because it's paid to be out there in one way, shape, or form. However, it's paid off. It's wanted misinfo so that you go down that red herring. You travel down that little path, and you go, oh, laser beams, whatever, took down the world. I'm not making fun of Judy Wood. I'm just using her as an example. Like, people.
that was a jab.
Well, whatever. Okay, it was a bit of a gut shot.
Total jab.
Okay, but whatever. The point is, people will look at 9/11 Truth. There's 15 different. Now 9/11 Truth is fractured because everybody's arguing over whether they're planes,
divide and conquer,
lasers, right? No one can just argue that we were lied to and what we were told was crap. How about we focus on the ball? How about we focus on the main agenda? They've gotten everybody divided, and that's what happens.
Ego really plays a big part in that, I mean, it's really that simple.
Am I still on the air?
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah.
Okay. So, no, I'm enjoying the conversation here. This is just for grins and giggles, and I don't want to dominate the show, but I found the video, and if you just zip to 1 minute, 54 seconds, you'll see Sarah Palin flash the Diablo sign as her daughter looks on, and the attractive middle-aged woman in the light blue dress is Madame Rothschild. So here's the video.
Oh, excellent.
So, yeah, check it out. It's really amazing. A really good guest would be to have Tex Mars, because he's
Tex Mars is great.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We'll have to reach out to him. That's definite Freaky Friday material. Mike, hey, I appreciate your call, man. It was great having you call in. And folks, don't forget 866-37-TRUTH. 866-37-TRUTH. Awesome caller right there, Mike. And boy, I take
Joe.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the paranormal.
The paranormal woo,
because we've not had Johnny Whistle's take, and I want to get Popeye's take on it because I bet you that's going to blow us away. So, Whistles, ghosts. What's the script with them, man?
Ghosts. I don't know. I believe, Kev, I believe there's something, but I don't know if it's actually something we are not manifesting ourselves.
Well, that's a very good point.
Ghosts.
It's a very good point. I mean, we all spoke about the power of the mind, how we can manifest things. Popeye, could it be some kind of element of our subconscious?
Like a projection?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Not all of them. Just like not all of them would be energy, residual energy. There's, to say a haunting or a ghost is the answer to it is this, and that is that is it. That's applying an umbrella answer to something that a one-size-fits-all policy doesn't work with.
It's like the UFO kind of topic as well. I mean, it's not just one thing out there. There's a whole host of different.
It's a case-by-case basis. Yeah. Once you start to go through the cases, you can start to. It's like anything else. You can start to find similarities and then sort them into certain categories. So you'll have ones that are residual energy hauntings, which sometimes ground, like physical land, like earth, especially when there's a lot of quartz, like you were talking about. Quartz has this thing you'll see when you start to research a lot of hauntings and stuff, that a lot of the times there's a lot of quartz in the ground. And then people will come across this, and they realize, later on they'll have a medium or somebody come in and explain to them that the quartz acts just like quartz traps energy for, like they use quartz batteries. Well, what do you think happens when a traumatic event happens? There's energy released.
Maybe the pyramids. Maybe the pyramids are like giant hard drives. Maybe we just don't know how to read them yet.
Well, I mean, all that energy goes somewhere, and that's information. So, I mean, it has to be out there in the universe somewhere. We just don't know how to plug into that. But yes, some of them, John is correct. It can be projections, but that's what a poltergeist is. A poltergeist is actually like a physical projection. When people can have, everybody has the ability, at least I believe that everybody has the ability, and from my research, that everybody could have this ability to be, I guess, telekinetic or whatever you want to call it. Have these, do you have that extra sense, And I believe everybody has that ability to have it. It's just some people, it's unlocked for whatever reason. Sometimes people get in car accidents and stuff, and they smash their head, and then they wake up and they start seeing things and stuff. There's plenty of cases where that's happened. So perhaps the jarring of the head unlocked something for whatever reason. The trauma unlocked something and allowed them to, you know, access a portion of their brain maybe that it wasn't accessing before. I mean, I don't claim to fully understand how it works with every human being, but from what I've seen, as an educated guess, my analysis would be that everybody is somewhat capable of it. So if you have someone that has that ability and they don't know it, and then they're very emotional, they can bring about what's called a poltergeist. But you can also get rid of that via making the person calm down and realize what's going on. So,
from a biblical standpoint, let me give you the biblical side. The biblical side says that, of course, demons exist, angels exist, but when we die, it says that you go to sleep. It's like turning off a light switch. That as people continue to exist here on Earth, you're dead. Like your consciousness is like almost dormant. And then at the second coming is when everybody's resurrected. And that's the way the Bible talks about that. So when you see like Aunt Rose or something like that kind of come to you in the middle of the night or whatever, you know, out of your closet, the chances are it's not her.
I hate to break the news to you, but I just had way too many experiences and seen stuff that ain't demons. I can tell you that right now. So I don't think that we just turn, like, have you ever held someone's hand when they died?
Oh, dude, the energy transfer is unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't think that just goes away. I don't think it shuts off. Like I held my wife's hand as she stopped, as her heart stopped very slowly.
What if what if the Earth is like the computer in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Have you ever thought about that? That it just like stores everybody's life force or soul until the, you know, whatever comes back.
I think we're
and
just
boom.
ones and zeros inside the computer.
Ones and zeros, like in like say like the cosmic stream of consciousness. Huh?
Yep. The kind of the software for our galaxy is conducive to producing life forms. And that's why I think we don't even have to leave our own galaxy to look for these 57, 58 varieties of aliens that you hear people talking about. We might go to another part of the computer, another part of the simulation, the program, and the software there would be totally different. It might not be compatible to ours. We might not even be able to recognize it. Just some of the thoughts I have, you know.
Yes.
Are we
going to try and test? Are we going to try to test the cutover system?
I'm contemplating what Kev just said. I mean, that's interesting that the planet could. I mean, you never know. The planet could store it. I mean, you know, our DNA structure is actually not only
it's all info.
Well, yeah, but not only is it like the shape of it, you know, a transmitting.
You mean it's like code?
Antenna, but it's also like a USB drive. Scientists are now trying to store information, extra information on DNA, and using the DNA itself as like a thumb drive to store data and carry it from one place to another. So, I mean, you know, like collective, you guys understand what is it called? Like collective memory, where like the reason why when you watch a movie like 2012, a disaster movie, and everything's going all to hell and the streets are imploding, everything, and it brings out like this primal fear inside of you, like in your chest, and you're like, God, where does that come from? Because I've never experienced anything like that, and it's only something in a movie, and other movies don't do that. Well, if there really were cataclysmic events back in the day, right, like thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, where you had these planets maybe colliding, like some of the stories say that Earth collided with another planet, a shining planet they called Lucifer. It was a watery planet, and that's why we have salt water on the planet, because we only had fresh water, and the salt water came from Lucifer when the planets collided. And there's a lot of different things, right? So hence maybe that's the story of the floods and
no,
everything
I'm
else.
good with that, because, I mean, look at the asteroid belt. That can be explained by one of those planets being taken out.
Well, something had to put it there, right?
Well,
exactly.
Look at the Earth with no water, by the way. Look at satellite pictures.
Well, look at Mars with water at one point in time.
The Pacific Ocean is a huge gouge taken out of the planet. So something collided with the Earth at one point and took a huge chunk out of this spinning rock. Because that's what the Pacific Ocean is. It's just covered by water. But if you look over, there's pictures of what the Earth would look like with no water. Go look. You'll see what I'm talking about. You can clearly see.
And then again, you know, you have to look at Mars. All the evidence that shows that was covered in water at one point in time.
Right. So what if like these cataclysmic events, right? Something hitting Earth, throwing it out of alignment, moving Mars out of its normal orbit, right? And where it was, maybe that's why life died on the planet. Some people have postulated, or I've heard, stories thereof. So what if these cataclysmic events really did happen, and then it's carried down through the DNA, like
Definite. It's genetic memory. Genetic,
that's what it is. That's the word I was looking for. Genetic memory.
That's genetic memory.
That's what I was looking for. So, like, thousands and thousands and thousands of years later, right? That's why they can use 2012 or one of these other movies to scare the crap out of people, right? Because without people even realizing it, they know that they can access that primal fear that's inside of you, that's stored in your DNA, that you don't even know exists. And that's why they bring that primal fear out in you with these movies and these special effects and people having horrific deaths.
Oh, but that's also why they throw in all these symbols, because there's also some genetic memory inside us subconsciously that it resonates with us. You've got to remember that we contain the whole information of the entire universe within us, because we're made up of the building blocks of this universe. So we talk about a frequency and how it was spoken into existence, and with somatics, where you can actually use vibration and see patterns and stuff like that. Obviously these symbols resonate with us on that level, because it's some kind of memory going back to when it all began.
I mean, and they talk about this, like, for people that think that this is crazy stuff, it's like not. Like, just do the research for 15 minutes, you'll see this is, and this explains, like, so much. I mean, think about it. You see people freaking out. How many people watch that stuff? And then after those movies come out, or when those movies come out, pay attention to what's going on in the real world, what they're putting out through their news media, dirt bags and their little talking mouthpieces out there.
If it's so much crap, can somebody tell me why the Templars bothered their ass to put in 216 blocks into the ceiling of Roslin Chapel that depict these patterns from that cymatics that I'm talking about? This is basically a musical code that they carved and engraved into the ceiling of this building. Now, if it's all a heap of woo, why would you go to that length to encode and hide a message?
If people want to see a good documentary that kind of will give you a good starting point to jump from, if this is all fresh, if like what we're talking about is completely like, what? Good friend of mine, I'm sure you guys know who he is. Ben Stewart. He's a filmmaker. He's also they have a band. They're running around the world touring or whatever they're freaking doing right now. He did Kymatica, Esoteric Agenda, and I forget the other one, Unplug, I think it's called, or something, on Grip. Kymatica is like the best one to like understand what we're talking about, especially with like cymatics and everything, because he covers it. I don't want to say briefly, a little bit more than briefly, but just enough to give you a base level understanding, and then he tells you like all the reference material that he used, obviously, in the end of the video. So you can go from there and research it, but you are exactly correct. It's like fractal patterns in everything. That's why you see, like, I don't think that God is some dude sitting on a throne with a white beard and, carving into stones and, stone tablets.
Little primitive, eh?
Right, exactly. I think that's just a little, like, and people, even in this day and age with all the technology, they really still think, like, that's the picture they have. I don't think God's a man at all. I don't think it's a man or a woman. I think God just is, whatever the energy is.
Right.
I don't pretend to know. I mean, I know it exists. I just don't think we have it correct at all.
No,
and I don't think that we're going to burn in some eternal pit of hell and fire just because I question, and I don't believe what I've been preached to by man.
Yeah,
just saying.
We got to go to break. Another segment come and gone. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Freaky Friday here on Truth Frequency Radio, truthfrequencyradio.com. Don't go away.
You must unite what has been set asunder.
We are TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. We were discussing the paranormal and we were getting into God. And I brought that up because where I was going with that was when I look at like fractal patterns and when I look into quantum mechanics and quantum theory and stuff, and I start to research all this stuff and I understand it on a much higher level, I understand that there's no way that all of these infinite patterns and stuff came about from something going boom. Sorry, I don't think it just ran.
Even if you don't want to call it God, Popeye, I mean, it's definitely some kind of programmer, something like that.
I use the term God because it's like an all-encompassing, it's something that everybody understands. And by the way, so everybody understands, when you hear the Muslims say Allah, all that means is God.
Is God.
Well said.
Okay? So it's not like, well, Allah is some dickhead. All they're saying is God.
No.
So basically, we're saying God is a dick. So you should go stick your head in
the one that actually needs to go check yourself.
Right. Yes. Like, this is stupid. We all argue over, we all have a base understanding that there's something greater than us out there, right? And yet we all kill each other over whose version of whatever that is the correct version. I have news for you. None of you have it right. So stop killing each other, douchebags, because you're all acting like idiots. And you're only holding us all back. So stupid.
In so many ways. I mean, this same tactic, if you will, that holds us back is the same tactic that's employed that keeps us using oil for fuel and energy and like tires instead of hover cars. Yes, I said hover cars. Damn it, I want a hover car so bad. It's scientific too. Magnets. So easy. Free energy. Damn. Where do we go with this?
You can't have free energy, Joe.
Why not?
Because you're not
kill you.
We'll shoot you if you can.
Somebody has to make money off of it. I mean, God forbid mankind have access to free energy.
I mean, you could make money off the manufacture of it. You could make money off the parts replacement and
where do I put the meter?
Maintenance. You got to maintain the machine.
It's not good enough. I want to charge for the electricity itself because I want control. My name is John Pierpont Morgan.
But,
sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I understand that. But I mean, it's all a control mechanism.
That's all it's about. Like, these guys are they just have, my father and I were having this conversation earlier. And, you know, my father's like, it's not about money. Like, he's come to the conclusion. He's like, it's not about money. They could just make their own money when they want.
Right.
Like, these people just want control. And I'm like, you're right, Dad. That's all they want. They're just sick control freaks. Like, they want to be able to be like, you know, I don't like that jacket you're wearing. It's now illegal. And then you get locked up for it just because they don't like it.
They don't like keep us using the money because it's a good form of control as well. And at the same time, if you look at the symbols on the money, I mean, it's magic. And money itself, it's energy, it's currency, it flows. Money flows, you know. It's all part of the same thing we've been talking about.
Current, like electricity. Yeah, it's funny how you say that, you know, currency or even the current in a water. How you're talking. It's amazing the parallels.
It's all back to the language again. It's all spelling. It's all magical.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And it is totally a control mechanism. You know, you think about like the Queen, right? The Queen has sheep ranches and down in Australia and all this stuff. And they all say, well, that's his mine. The only reason why that's hers is because she has an army and a flotilla that can take it back if somebody steals it. But
like, at what point did, like, let's say God, for lack of a better term, like, when did God come down and be like, hey, Elizabeth, come here for a second. Come here,
baby.
Come here, lizard. Come here. I want to talk to you for a second. Come here, L lizard birth. Come here. I want to talk to you for a second. Come here.
We're gonna put an interesting twist into this reality TV show called Earth.
Do you know why they call it?
We want you to own everything. You know, you can have whatever you want on this planet. You know, I mean, F the other like 6 billion people on this planet.
Don't worry about that.
They have necessities, but whatever. Screw them. It's you, me, and everybody else can kiss our ass. So, what continent would you like? Just pick one and you can have it.
Popeye, they call it the Commonwealth for a reason. Us Brits, we went in there, we raped and pillaged these countries, we stole their wealth, we stood back in our little island and said, come on. Commonwealth. No.
Commonwealth. We do the same thing.
Yeah, we have them here.
Don't we?
Certain states are commonwealths.
Or we call them U.S. territories, right? Are they? I guess they're considered commonwealths, right?
Well, some are commonwealths, some aren't. Like Massachusetts is a commonwealth. Virginia is a commonwealth. But not all states are commonwealths.
Well, Puerto Rico is not a state, but it's, I don't know if it's a commonwealth or
it's a territory.
Yeah, it's considered one of the two. I think it's a U.S. territory. Very nice.
But it's also a commonwealth.
But, like, again, how is that ours? Like, because we took it?
Yeah, man, you drew the lines, so you get
like, just, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, think about it. Like, I used to talk to Marseille about this. I was like, originally it was the Taino Indians, and then the Spanish came over, you know, hundreds of years ago, and then they raped all the Tainos and stuff, and then now you have the Islanders. But then, like, how does that, you know, eventually turn? I know history and all that stuff, but I mean, think about it. Like, you have all these foreign countries, like, yeah, you can have this. Yeah, you can have this chunk of land and all the people that live there. Like, wow, holy, like, you're just using people, and think about what we do to each other. Think about it. We just, well, yeah, you could have that whole island with all the people on it. Whatever you do with them, it's cool. Don't worry about it. You can throw them away. Like, wow. And now they're ours. We own them. Think about it. It's crazy. And all these countries do it. The Queen of England, I think, owns a little bit more than we do, though. You guys have...
But they say she's ceremonial, but people don't appreciate the fact that she's been able to shut down the Canadian Parliament twice in the last 5 years or so. Yeah, really ceremonial.
She just threatens to come over and eat all their faces. She's like, don't make me come over and suck out your soul.
We always end up back at these absolute parasites. Oh,
yeah.
Unbelievable.
Well, because it always goes back to them. It always goes back to them. I was
really having a royal ass wiper.
Back in the day, yeah, I don't believe there's a groom of the stool now, but it was a recognised
groom
position.
of the stool. Yeah, now that's a title right there for you.
How much do you get paid for that?
That's probably akin to, see, they had to try to give somebody, well, let's see, what do we call an ass wiper to make it sound kind of semi-tolerable and acceptable in society?
How do you hold your head up? Like, what do you do for a living? You're at the bar, like on your day off.
I wipe the queen's ass.
You meet this smoking hot woman, and she's just really into you, and you're like, oh, it's going so well. And she's like, so what do you do? And you're like, I'm the groom of the stool. And she's like, really? What is that? And you're like, I wipe the queen's ass after she goes to the bathroom.
The groom of the stool.
And then the girl gets up from the bar and turns around and walks away. Like, that's one job. You'd have to lie.
I have a lot of influence over her hemorrhoid. I mean, over her queen.
I play the piano in a whorehouse. I just would not tell anybody what I did.
Yeah, that I wiped the queen's ass. Probably very similar to the individual that scrapes the gum off of the amusement park sidewalk. Gumologists. I mean, come on, really? A gumologist? Okay, I guess there's a science to it.
Wait, that's what they call the people that take the gum off the sidewalks?
Yeah, a gumologist.
How about you just call them a sidewalk cleaner? The street sweep. How about that?
Gumologist.
Is that too demeaning because they're cleaning?
Too demeaning. How about street cleaner? I'm a gumologist.
How about cleaning crew?
No,
you know, I clean the streets. I'm the reason you have clean streets. You see, you know, it's all in how you answer it. Like, I'm the reason you have clean streets. Oh, okay.
With the Super Friends song going behind you,
right? Or like, I'm an urban engineer, right? Oh, see,
they call me the street sweeper.
Right? Seriously. you get like a tattoo of a broom on you with
that crazy look in your eye
coming out of it and shit. With like, and you just look at people when you say it.
No match for Fanny Flambeau.
No match for Fanny Flambeau. Can Fanny Flambeau go on board an airplane? Is she a TSA approved?
Oh, I'd love to see how that went down.
TSA would probably confiscate it and take it home.
You'd be like the central character of the latest terror attack, I would imagine.
Oh my! Hey, I wonder.
Oh, dude, I could see the CNN special report with Joe's picture. Terrorist tries to smuggle doll laden with explosives in fake hole hidden in the doll's vaginal anus area.
Yeah, but they would put a burqa on it just to add to the anti-Muslim
They put a burqa on it, and then they would be like, it's white Al-Qaeda. This is the new terror threat. And then you'd have, like, the terror threat would be titled, exploding doll vaginas, and that would be the new terror threat for 3 days on CNN, Fox News, and MSNBC. And you'd have Sean Hannity and like Peter King, Representative Peter King, coming on. We need more legislation against vagina bombs. You're like, bro, it's a doll from China.
It sounds laughable. We've had breast bombs. They were talking about that at one point, Johnny, over here, talking about implanted breast bombs.
Yeah, I know.
And why not? I mean, they've done it just about everything else.
Because it wouldn't be too hard to spot the person with like a bomb implanted in them. Oh yeah, Popeye, they get away with that. I doubt it, because bombs, the human body, I don't know if you guys, I know in the movies that they can get away with things like the human body doesn't react well to foreign things being put into it. It's hard enough to get it to accept other human organs that are put into it with like medications and stuff, let alone foreign objects. I think it'd be pretty easy to spot the person with bombs in their breast. They'd be the one walking through the airport that looked like a zombie, looked like they were about to drop dead, sweating profusely, probably blood stains on their shirt, and they would probably be very pale. I believe that even the biggest douchebag of TSA employees would be able to spot that one. Sorry, but
well, you could do like a butt bomb, right? I'm sure you could do the butt bomb. How much explosives can you shove up your ass and then walk somewhere and kaplooey?
Think about sepsis and everything. What happens when the body's going through that? You've seen people in like hospital beds fighting off. Can you imagine like a person in a hospital bed that you've seen like sick fighting off an infection? Now picture that person with a bomb in them walking through an airport. Oh yeah, that's plausible. Yeah, no, nobody would look at them and be like, something's up with this guy. Profusely sweating, bodily fluids probably leaking out of a few little holes.
They're too busy. They're too busy checking Granny's colostomy bag.
Yeah, true. They're too busy patting everybody down and, grandma, be a terror threat.
And that's the problem. That's the problem when you enact procedure like that. See, procedure can be good and it can be bad. And it's bad in that it breeds complacency. Well, then you start feeling everybody and you start not to look for those quote unquote signs. And then something gets slipped through. So, I mean, they open themselves up to it with this stupid crap. There was nothing wrong with pre-9/11 security. Nothing.
No.
Everything should be fine.
Well, it really hasn't changed. They haven't caught any. The only thing they catch are people like smuggling pot. And they're like, well, we stopped drugs. Ooh, that's not what you intended for, dicks. In fact, if I remember, that was one of the things that first came up when TSA was, when they proposed it. And they said, quote, we will not use, TSA or this agency to go after people for drug offenses. It's going to be used for, anti-terrorism type stuff. And who do they catch? They catch the guy that's stupid enough to think he can get past TSA with a joint in his pocket. Newsflash, people, don't travel with weed. I know it's cool to smoke and all, but just go to a place that it's legal. Or, if it's not legal, then try to find somebody, whatever. And if not, go get a glass of wine or beer. You know what I mean? Like, don't be stupid. Don't give these jagoffs any reason to arrest you.
Not like that. You're not making a statement that way.
No, if you're going to make a statement. Like videotape them beating up some old lady or something. Like, do something. Do it. Like, if you're going to get arrested, do it for the right reason. Don't get arrested because, you just handed them the reason to do it. That's just stupid. Just saying. Little public service announcement from Truth Frequency Radio here, folks. And whatever you do, don't fly through Detroit, because apparently that's the worst airport to come through with customs.
Is that right?
I
would never have thought that.
Amsterdam did not have a problem. My friend's 60-year-old mother, it was her 60th birthday, so he brought her over to Europe, and we hung out with her, and she smoked with us and hung out and everything, right? She washed all of her clothes because we were all in an apartment. So there was a washer dryer. She washed all of her clothes, everything, right? Out of everybody, we figured, because we were the ones that were smoking like 10 times more than she was, we figured we would have been the ones that set off any meters or anything. We all flew back in when we came in different routes. So she comes in through Detroit. They bring the dog over. She said that they were trying to get the dog to hit on people and like fake hit on people while they were waiting online to see the customs agent. And they were walking back and forth with the dog, and the dog hit on her. And they said, oh, the dog hit on you. They dragged her out of line. They took her bags. They searched through everything. They were grilling her. They're like, we could arrest you for trying to interfere with an investigation. And she's like, interfere with an investigation? She's like, I didn't do anything. You're asking me questions. I'm trying to answer them, and you're just being rude. And his mother she hangs out with us. She reads, the articles on Federal Jack. Her son was one of the guys that helped me found it years ago. So she's fully well aware of what's going on. So now she starts being a smartass to the cops. Now they drag it out longer, but they total police state, and they had nothing on her. Finally, she's like, you have to let me go because I didn't do anything wrong. I don't have any cannabis on me. Well, what were you doing in Amsterdam? Smoking cannabis. It's not illegal there. Any other questions? Just like that. And she stood up for her right. I mean, they hassled her, but she got out of there. But she was the one out of everybody that got hassled, was my friend's mom. All of us, I figured coming back I was probably going to get locked up, right? Not because I had anything on me, just because, I do radio. I didn't get messed with. My other friends, all the stuff they do and all the stuff they work on in hacking, didn't get messed with. His mom got messed with.
Damn.
And she said that they were getting the dog to hit on people, that there was obviously nothing there. She said they were just getting the dog to hit on. Because you can train the dog to get a fake hit.
Oh, we've never seen that before. Not here in America. Not here in America.
Just go on YouTube and type in canine fake hit. Training canine to get fake hits.
What, thousands of those a year at every checkpoint across America.
Yeah, she totally
freaking believable.
She stood up though. She didn't let them push her around. She had a little bit of fun. I mean, she was pissed about the thing, but at the same time, she didn't let them browbeat her. She stood up, and that's when they were like, they threatened to arrest her for being a smart ass.
Wow.
I love Dolores. She's awesome. Kisses, Dolores. I love you. She rocks, dude. She's got balls to solid rock, that woman.
Okay, so I'm gonna get into some science again. Kev.
Yo.
Top 10 stories, news stories, according to Science. Of course, Science is the official journal of, I think it's the American Association of Science. Anyway, they list at number 10, space bubbles may have led to deadly battle in Afghanistan. Space bubbles. This is one of the deadliest battles of the U.S. war in Afghanistan, may have been caused by plasma bubbles. That's the conclusion of this unusual study, which finds the turbulent pockets of ionized gas may have deflected U.S. military satellite radio signals enough to cause temporary communication blackouts in the region. So plasma bubbles. That's pretty interesting, huh?
That's a new fallback. Just blame it on the plasma bubble.
That's right. Yeah, not the Russians amassing at the Mexican border.
What's firing the plasma bubbles?
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, you'd have to read the actual paper on it. Now
they didn't think that far. I guarantee you, the paper probably doesn't explain where the plasma bubbles come from. They never really do explain anything, do they? I mean,
chemtrails.
All I got to say is Building 7 collapse.
Building 7.
What number in the top 10
Laser
is
beams.
the actual reproduction of death smells coming at, Joe?
We're not there yet. We're not there yet. Number 9, isolated tribe makes contact for the first time. So beginning in early July, a few members of an isolated Amazonian tribe emerged from a dense rainforest in Brazil and approached a team of scientists.
Not buying
The first time the villagers had willingly made contact with the outside world. Officials suspect that the tribe fled illegal logging and drug trafficking in their traditional homelands in Peru. Anthropologists remain deeply concerned about the tribe's future as it encounters novel diseases and resource-hungry outsiders.
One of them had a big hunting knife on him. Where did he get that? They had contact with humans, man. That was there was something about that story, the video at the time. They met them in the river. I don't know. I mean, if it's genuine, what a shame that they had to come into contact with us.
Oh God, they're ruined.
Well, because there's all these douchebag drug smugglers, and then these guys that are taking the forest out for these corporations, and then poachers and everything, and they don't care. They'll just come through and kill everybody. They don't really care about the historical value of these tribes or anything else. They don't care about any of that. They don't care that a lot of these tribes do certain things like shamanic rituals that actually help heal and balance the earth. I'm not kidding. But hey, let's wipe them out. But then again, there's been a systematic plan to wipe out tribes like that for hundreds of years now. And you know where that came from? The royal families. And that goes back, that even predates your douchebag royal families over there in the UK. It goes back to their douchebag relatives hundreds of years before.
Hundreds of years ago. Yeah, that's been going on for a very long time. Now, number 8. And this This, of course, is kind of directed towards one of our own here. Are beards about to die out? Oh, certainly our hairiest story of the year, they say. Men seem to be growing beards in unprecedented numbers. And consequently, pedophilia is going up unprecedented too.
Quinky dinky.
Kawinky dink. But a recent study suggests that this look is becoming too popular for its own good. In fact, bushy beards may be on their way out. So that apparently qualifies as a science story.
Well, I don't know why they're on their way out, but all I know is a lot of the people, like, first of all, I had my beard way longer before these hipster douchebags. Okay, just like I had tattoos before it was cool to get tattoos, and now people have, I still can't stand, I still respect people that get tattoos over the guys that wear the long sleeve t-shirts with the fake tattoos printed on the shirt, and then they wear that out, and they actually try to pretend that that's their tattoos. They're out. There's shirts.
Wait a minute. They have like a design or a graphic on a shirt.
Printed on like a sleeve. Like, you've seen my arms. They're tattooed out.
Yeah,
Picture sleeves. Picture my arms and my hands. Well, minus my hands. Picture my sleeves from my wrist up, right? Picture that printed on a t-shirt, but not so much like a loose fitting shirt, kind of like a spandexy shirt.
Like one of those armor
yeah, like an Under Armour shirt.
Under Armour shirt. I got you. Okay.
Like that, right? But it's
like flesh colored or something.
Yes, and they have different skin tone colors underneath to match yours. So you get like a flesh tone one that matches you, and then you wear that, and then obviously you would put a t-shirt on over top of it.
Over that.
But then it looks like, dude, these guys walk around with this stuff on like they do this in South Beach, and I'm like, what's the point? I stopped one day.
That's so fake, dude.
I asked him, I said, what's the point of that? I was like, why not just get the real thing like I have? And he goes, oh man, I don't really want to do that. You know, it's like, it hurts, and I don't know what I would want. And it's usually the first answer is the one that gives me the true answer. It hurts. So
I was going to say, if anything,
he doesn't want to deal with the pain. He just wants to.
If anything, I would say my only drawback to doing that would be it's permanent. And like, what if I get sick of it?
Well, some people, if they say, well, but it still doesn't justify putting on the shirt and pretending you have.
No. But at least there you can change it up. You'd be like, hey, you got something new.
They're turning us into metrosexuals.
Exactly.
A douchebag. It doesn't matter whether or not you can change it up. You can get all different tattoos for every day of the week. You're a douchebag.
But whether or not you can change it up, the beards are on their way out, whether you like it or not.
No, they're not. My beard will stay on my face. Okay, it was here before it was cool, and it'll be here after it's cool.
Pretty soon, it's going to be the bike handles, the bicycle handle.
Did you see
what? Joe, did you see the video that the guy putting Christmas things on their beards?
See, John, every time John reads my mind, I swear to God.
Synchronicity.
We have the Christmas balls. It's this thing now in Europe. These guys are putting Christmas balls all over their beards.
Yep.
Like little ornaments they hang from their beards, and this is the thing. And people were paying up to like $300 on eBay for these things.
Yeah,
for like
a dozen in a pack.
Yeah, that's what it was, a dozen, not even 20 of them. You get like a dozen in a pack, and you saw the one report on it, right, John? It was like $205. People were paying for them.
Absolutely crazy.
You pay who has $275 to? Oh, honey, look what I spent. I spent all the money that I was going to spend on you for Christmas, and I got you this awesome gift. And you're thinking, wow, she must have got me some like cool computerized gadget or something. And you get a bag with like 12 Christmas ornaments for your beard in it. I would snatch them into 1,000 pieces in the bag. I'd be like, here's your $275 effing dollars. Oh my God, dude! Like. Just a total waste of money. Yeah, people buy it. Just look up what did they call them, John? I forget what the title was, but it's like Christmas balls or something like that. And it's this new quote unquote trend, and apparently it's this thing in Europe. Please don't let that come here to the States. Of course, the trendies probably will bring it here.
No. We're doing an exchange deal. We've got Black Friday.
Oh, I see one in the chat room.
The bearded balls.
I see one in the chat room. Gentleman Skeptic posted it for everybody out there. I see what. Wow, that is pretty retarded looking, dude. I got to tell you.
Those are the ones. And guys would walk around South Beach with that shit on. And
it's like wearing a leotard.
Bro, real? Like, just don't front. Like, either you have tattoos and you're a man and you lay there and you get the work done, or you don't. But don't act like. Cause what happens if you meet a really hot chick and she's drunk and you're in a club and she thinks you have tattoos and you go home to have sex and then you peel your tattoos off? Then what happens?
Alpha 7 said amazeballs.
Yeah, exactly.
Air punch.
Yeah, air punch.
These are the kind of guys that would burst into tears halfway through sex. Metrosexuals, man.
You know who gets things like that? Guys that would come into the tattoo shop and they'd be like, yeah, I want this huge tattoo right on my chest, and I'm like, well, it's your first time. Maybe we should put it like on your outside of your arm because that's like.
Shouldn't we try this first?
We'll put it right here, and you get one line. And usually these guys are cops. I'm not kidding you. They'd be cops, and you'd be like, okay, you ready? And they're all jacked up, and you're like, yeah, you ready? Yeah, man, just do it. Yeah, okay. And they pass out. Poof, out like a light. The tattoo artist is like, Popeye, what do we do? I'll get some Coca-Cola. Hold on, I go next door to the sandwich shop, get some Coke, come back. My one friend was slapping the guy in the face.
Hey, can we go to break now?
Hour 2.
Well, you've never asked.
I'm telling you, man, it's flying by.
Hour 3 coming up.
Real people, real radio. Wherever you are, make it TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Hour number 3 of tonight's. I guess actually this is the last edition of Freaky Friday for 2014. I don't even.
Yeah, I guess it would be. Yeah.
Wow, I just realized that because by next time it'll be 2015. So yeah, I guess this is the last 2014 edition of Freaky Friday, and we're going all over the Woo chart here, from the paranormal to aliens to God to the Illuminati to free energy,
bad tattoo shirts.
Oh yes, and bad, horrible, pathetic tattoo shirts. Even the guys that don't have tattoos here all agree, not cool.
Yeah, you're right. So we're going over the top 10 science stories of 2014.
Oh yes, that's right. Top 10 science stories. We were at number 8?
7.
Oh,
number 7. Ancient magma plumbing found buried below moon's largest dark spot.
But what do you mean plumbing?
Plumbing, meaning that it says there may be nothing new under the sun, but scientists have found something new under the moon. Several kilometers below the largest dark spot on our satellite's near side, researchers have discovered a giant rectangle thought to be the remnants of a geological plumbing system that spilled lava across the moon about 3.5 billion years ago. The finding shows that the moon's early history experienced tectonic and volcanic activity normally associated with large planets. Pretty big. Ooh. I'm feeling it.
I just want to know why the moon rang like a bell when they hit it with that nuke.
I want to know about bases on the dark side. That's what I want to know about.
Well, yeah, but if it rung like a bell, that means that it's hollow. You'd have to have some sort of hollowness.
Doesn't the Earth often ring like a bell, too?
Well, the Earth has its own resonance.
Yeah.
That's what the Schumann resonance is.
So perhaps we're hollow as well?
On that. Well, we could have hollowness.
Go back to the Chittahoorie that we were talking about earlier, Popeye. I believe one of their myths involves 2 brothers that actually came into our solar system, and one of them brought the moon with them. Now, that kind of suggests that it was man-made, or at least put here. And when you look at what it actually controls, right down to the menstrual cycles of women, it's a bit hard to believe that happened just by chance.
Oh, right. There's no doubt about it. I mean, come on.
You know, like the gold. Just so people know, before I forget this, if you think the Chittahoorie thing, if you think that's all crazy, again, why would they randomly pick that name for the invading aliens from another dimension in the Avengers movie? Okay, that's one. And 2, why would Cecil Rhodes, the founder of the Rhodes Scholarship, right, which is not a scholarship program, it's a secret society, why would Cecil Rhodes, why would he be buried at the crossroads in Africa where these things supposedly come in between dimensions? He's buried at the crossroads right there where they supposedly.
He named a country after himself, Popeye, did he not? Rhodesia.
Well, yeah, but this guy, you know, and he's got all these connections to these elitist families and all you know, a ton of different things. But he believed so heavily in this, in the Chittahoorie, in the reptilians, whatever you want to call them, that he was buried. He had himself buried at the crossroads in the mountains where these things supposedly come through from one dimension to our dimension. He had himself buried there. Ike even talks about it. One point of reference to see it would be Ike's book, The Biggest Secret. He talks about it in there. And in the chapter, he's got all the reference material that talks about all this stuff and where you can go research it further. You can see this is all real. I mean, Cecil Rhodes believed it or enough that, he's buried there. So, you could, let's say Rachel Maddow, right? Because she likes to go on TV and make fun of quote-unquote conspiracy theorists. She could make fun of us and say, oh, these crazy guys, they're talking about aliens and something called the Chittahuri and ha, 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 ha.
But, Popeye, I think that's
Miss
why...
Rhodes Scholar. You were a Rhodes Scholar, weren't you, Rachel?
That's why they choose that, I think. Because I think by using that, they're actually trying to make fun of a subject that they're trying to keep from us.
Oh, exactly. Or she doesn't even realize that the founder of the very secret society that helped bring her to where she is today, or that she's a member thereof, the Rhodes Scholarship, right? Because it's a secret society. That's what it is. So she doesn't even realize that the founder of it was buried. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, I'm not saying that she's gone out and does a special, but if she did and attacked it, I'm just using her as an example. It would be it would be kind of ironic if, her or somebody along that ilk, Bill Clinton's, as any other Rhodes Scholar tried to attack you for saying something about Cecil Rhodes like that. It's perfectly true. It's where his body's buried. I'm not Cecil Rhodes. I didn't choose to be buried up by where the Chittahuri come through from one dimension to another. Don't get mad at me. You're just mad at the messenger because we're telling you that, this guy, you know what I mean? They'll never admit to that.
It's obviously one of these natural vortices on the planet. And I mean, Joe, we've spoke about before how the Native Americans, they have 4 mountains, I believe, in the US that they basically call stargates.
Yeah, one of them, of course, being Mount Graham, where the Vatican has the largest telescope on planet Earth. More powerful than Hubble.
The Vatican,
looking up.
That's more woo than the Chittahuri.
With the Lucifer device.
The Vatican probably used the Chittahuri. They probably want to use the Chittahuri from the Avengers movie to invade and take over and have... Loki kind of looks like the new Pope. So who knows? I don't know.
If you could get into their library, we would get access to all the alien books that were allegedly in the Library of Alexandria. I mean, they say all those books got burnt. That's absolute BS. They got spirited away to the Vatican. And that's still in there, so they're tapping into all that knowledge. And then you see them building telescopes with the acronym Lucifer on a mountain that is an alleged Stargate. Come on, people, wake up.
It's got nothing that... Kev. That's just coincidence, dude.
Coinky dinky.
Yeah, look, I think we're looking way too deep into this. Okay, I think it's just coincidence, and, the Pope's a great guy. Before Mercy died, she used to say to me, this Pope's not too bad of a guy. That other Pope, he was evil. And I was like, babe, I love you, but this guy's evil too. And she's like, but he does all this nice stuff. And I'm like, that's the whole point. And she's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, he has to put a nice face back on the Catholic Church because Ratzinger was just so evil that, it didn't matter even when they tried to, make him look nice. It was just he looked like Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars. He his face was
he effervesced evil so much that he couldn't hide it.
Dude, he was Palpatine. He was the Sith Lord. Look at him.
Prince Philip as well. You see it in him. It just emanates from him. Rockefeller, all of them. These people. It's quite scary. I mean, look at Tony Blair.
Kissinger looks like Jabba the Hutt now.
But that's a character. How's he even still alive?
We will have the new world order, Kev Baker. We will have the new world order. And I am going to eat another 500 pounds of child souls. Oh. I am Henry Kissinger, and that's the only way I survive, is sucking on the souls of children.
They reckon they actually receive full body blood transplant or transfusions from children. Children's blood.
Again, sucking down the souls of children. I'm Henry Kissinger, and me and Hillary Clinton.
Can I just be the first one to note, perhaps, that while this may all occur, it doesn't do anything for their looks, that's for sure. Because look at Zbigniew and Kissinger.
After a while, dude, I think that all that evil, no matter how much, you
just can't contain it anymore.
Yeah, I think after a while, your body just gets so old And like it start after a while, their evil just starts to seethe through. And you're
Yeah,
right,
like Schmeagol.
dude. I've been saying that about Brzezinski for years now. Like years ago, you could start to see it was like, is he turning into a reptile on live TV, or is it just me? Because like his inner evil face is coming out, and now
Yeah, his skin looks like a dry rotted tire.
dude, now you can tell that they're using that airbrush, makeup on his face in between takes because you could just see it
What do they
caked
use?
on his
They
face.
got to use like Bondo, dude. Seriously, it's bad.
They're in there with Krylon.
They
hired a couple graffiti artists to come in and just do his face up for him because there's nothing else.
What was the name of that bad movie with Bruce Willis and the two? It was Goldie Hawn and I think Meryl Streep.
Death Becomes Her. Or
Death
whatever.
Becomes Her. Yeah, and they were like using Krylon and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
To give their skin color.
That's what they use for these guys, dude.
Yeah.
Like nobody sees how evil they like. How does I get that there are people that like really buy into the Hillary Clinton thing, but come on, ladies.
I know.
Really? Like female pride, well, she's got boobs and a vagina, so I'm going to vote for her. That
Are you
doesn't
sure?
qualify her to be the president. Yeah, and are you really sure that it's not like alien?
Can we not have Sarah Palin? At least she looks good, and it would be a hell of a laugh.
No, Sarah Palin's just as stupid because she's a puppet of Kissinger and all these other neocon douchebags. So she's just as bad because Palin doesn't have brain one in her head, and she'd be used. I mean, yeah, she was kind of cute when she was younger. I don't know.
No. She's my She's my pin-up politician. Popeye.
Yeah. Kev.
Oh
Really?
boy.
Yeah. When I step out the farmer's field and deal with humans, Sarah Palin's up there.
Oh man! Wow, dude. I feel sorry for any sheep.
I got totally derailed on that one. Wow.
Sarah Palin for president? No.
No, let's move on because that really just hit me hard there.
What is it? What are we getting?
Number six. Top story of 2014: How to survive a nuclear explosion. I guess I guess they came to some sort of conclusion. It says, "Here's a bit of good news. We hope you never have to use. Scientists have figured out what you should do if deadly radioactive fallout is headed your way. Here's a hint: You'll need a watch and a good knowledge of your surroundings." Okay, and I guess you can go read that there. And of course, this is the official science journal.
Was that Land Nav? Yeah. They tell you to stumble upon the nearest abandoned nuke testing town, climb into a refrigerator, have it explode, and hurl you miles, only to be thrown out. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the plot of Indiana Jones Part 4.
Yeah, dude, that was a really good one, though. I'd have to admit, to be flung in a refrigerator like that. I mean,
because it revolves around the crystal, the theory of the crystal skulls and all that stuff. That's it's all tied to the Anunnaki and all that. So, some of that was interesting. Interdimensional travelers, they travel in between dimensions or whatever they said.
Here's the interesting thing: if it ever did do the whole nuclear thing, and people are worried about it, the targeting technology that the United States possesses is so good that we don't have those multi-megaton warheads anymore, like on the subs and all that. They just don't. They're in the kilotons. Why? Because the targeting's so good. So you don't have to have the multi-megaton warheads, those big Berthas type warheads that were so prevalently tested in the 50s and the early 60s. But other countries do not have the targeting capability, and as such, they put the big ones on. So China, they of course they have their strategic submarine fleet that's going out, and they're using the multi-megaton style type warhead because of that. So what this report is actually saying is there are different scenarios where you should either shelter evacuate or shelter first, or then transit first, and they give different scenarios, and based on the scenarios, that's what you do. But you have to know your surroundings, and a watch, so like after X amount of time, the wind's going this direction, I go and I do this, and you have a plan for each scenario.
I take option C: stick my head between my legs and kiss my ass goodbye.
Go get a pack of cigarettes and decide to take up smoking because what the hell, lung cancer at this point is definitely not going to kill you.
At that point, it's out the window, right? Okay, so number 5. Number 5 is the vampire squirrel has been determined to have the world's fluffiest tail. That's right. The vampire squirrel.
Imagine going to university, studying for 6-7 years and all these doctorates and that, and then being paid good money to go and look at which squirrel has got the fluffiest tail.
And you want to know what's even worse, dude?
You wanted to be a scientist.
And you want to know what's even worse? Let me tell you what's even worse. What's even worse is like this person will write this peer-reviewed article or whatever and get fame and fortune for figuring out that the vampire squirrel has the world's fluffiest tail. That this guy will be vaulted in the annals, in the halls of academia throughout the world.
For like, what did your find? Like, how did that help the planet?
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, this says anytime you can get both vampire and fluffiest into a headline, you know you got a good story. And this one is about the rare tufted ground squirrel, which is twice the size of most tree squirrels and reputedly has a taste for blood. Oh, yeah, it's also got the bushiest tail on any mammal compared with its body size.
Reputedly? How? Who told it? The other squirrels up the tree? The
Right, yeah, well, they're like... The squirrel's called Scientific America, and they were like, hey, guys, you know, the squirrel down the block, his name's Fred. He's one of these bigger squirrels. We think he sucks blood.
Calls himself the Count.
Right, he calls himself the Count.
Count Fluffy.
First of all,
squirrel.
You know why that's a story? Because the douchebag editor couldn't find enough stories to fill the slot. I guarantee you there's probably one other one in there just like it.
Oh, I'm sure that's the case.
Penelope in the chat brings up a good point. The squirrel, she says, a squirrel with a tude and tats. That squirrel is probably tougher and more of a man, the vampire squirrel, than the guy wearing the tattoo shirt. The squirrel is tougher than the guy with the fake tattoo shirt.
Probably someone out there listening right now, or when it goes up on YouTube, thinking, I really need to ditch this T-shirt.
They're probably wearing the fake tattoo shirt right now, looking at themselves, and they're like, wah, 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 wah. Yeah. So, what's number 5 or 4? Or
number 4, rocks made of plastic found on Hawaiian beach.
They're not rocks then, are they?
Thank you, Kev.
Sorry for stating the obvious.
Thank you. By definition, they're not freaking rocks. They're chunks of plastic that look like rocks.
It's been a big year for plastic, from researchers developing self-recycling plastic to discovering trillions of pieces of plastic trapped in Arctic ice. But our favorite plastic story is this one. Scientists find a new type of rock on Hawaiian shores, one cobbled together from beach sand, seashells, coral, and yes, plastic. So apparently, all the trash that we're ditching in the ocean is actually starting to incorporate itself into some of the rock that's being formed. Now, can you imagine like a life form a billion years from now? They're like going through the layers of sand and they come across like the time where we're on the planet and they find these rocks. They're like, what the hell is this?
If they're still calling them rocks in the future, I'll be highly disappointed, man.
You know what kills me? You know what kills me about that Pacific floating garbage patch? I know people they inflate the size. They'll try to make it bigger than it is, and then you'll have the other side try to make it smaller than it is. Regardless, it's still an issue. It's still floating out there. And everybody argues over it, but nobody's really doing anything to fix it. Yet we spend all this money. We're totally willing to vote and spend all this money to we need more money because we have to give $5 billion to this foreign country or $10 billion to this foreign country, or we have to spend $20 billion on new tanks or new bombs or rockets that chase people down hallways and wipe their ass for them and then blow up. It's a new thing. It's called the courtesy rocket. We do all this stuff to figure out new ways to kill people, but hey, don't worry about that huge pile of garbage that's like screwing up the Pacific Ocean. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
The roads are collapsing and the bridges are falling down and people are dying. Well, who needs bridges, dude? We need more bombs. Don't you understand?
There's actually a young boy, I think, I don't know if he's 15 or 16, he's come up with a solution for collecting all this plastic. So it's some sort of it creates some sort of maybe like a whirlpool, something like that. But it seems to draw the plastic from miles away, and it all to congregate in the one place.
He's going to end up floating face first in the plastic.
That's right.
It's like a vortex. I know what you mean. It creates like a vortex, and then because of the whatever in the ocean, the currents there, that's where all the garbage meets up. But like you would think, like people explain it. Well, no country wants to take, nobody wants to take responsibility for it. Well, then somebody needs to step up and do something. And then the U.S. is always like, well, why does it always have to be us when it comes to stuff like that? Oh, but we're the first ones to put our foot in the ring when it comes to blowing someone's face off.
Yeah, I know. It's like,
we're the first ones to tell you how to live your life, but fixing a problem? Oh, well, we can't do that. Other countries should really, they should step up.
Yeah, we'll hold our breath.
Really? Politicians? Really? It amazes me. Like, people argue over they'll debate for years over how we could do it or what we should do. And by that time, it gets to be a huge problem, and it's like it's messing with the ecosystem.
Yeah.
Like, hello.
But see, I've always lived by that whole, lead by example. You live by example, lead by example. And if that's the case, and you still have, nation states and all that on the earth, then you lead by example. Yeah, you clean that shit up. And then you set the trend, you set the precedent. And if anybody F's up, you get your homies and you'd be like, yo, dog, come on now, clean your mess up.
Yeah, but you got the moral high ground to do it then, because you're like,
exactly.
I just clean this up. Like, don't, it's like when you live in a barracks room and there's like a community barracks room and like everybody's making the place a mess. So you one day you straighten it up, and then when everybody comes back, you tell them, see how clean it is? Yeah, this is how clean it's going to remain. If it doesn't remain this clean, there will be ass whoopings.
You were that guy. You were him. Oh, I might have guessed.
Yeah, Roger that. I was that guy. I ran my barracks room was run like a well-oiled piece of machinery. You know what? We never had any problems with inspections. We had alcohol and stuff in there. My room was the party room to go to hang out and chill. But there was rules that everybody followed, and that's why we didn't get caught.
Did you have tile floors?
No, we had that shitty like
outdoor carpeting.
Yeah, that.
Oh no. See, we had tile floors, and part of our inspection was that tile better have been sparkling, right? So I got the idea. I was like, I'm going old school, baby. So everybody else is using snapback and, breaking out the buffer and brrr. Not me. I'm just hanging out, having a good time. Everybody's like, dude, we got inspection in the morning. No problem. So I get up early and I proceed to pledge my floor. And man, that thing was sparkly.
What a dick. What a dick. Go on. Why don't you tell them what inevitably happened?
So anyway, the inspection happens, and it happened to be the CO. He goes in, and his feet just go whoop right out from under him, and bam! Looking around, why is this floor so slippery? Why does it smell like lemons? Well, yeah, didn't go well for me there. They did say that I had the shiniest floor though. Not to mention that it was a hazard.
I'm sure you had the shiniest floor, but I'm sure you
I also made every head in the building shiny.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you
for the next 30 days. For the next 30 days.
I was going to say at least 2 weeks.
30. 3-0.
Wow, how bad did that suck, huh?
Yeah, but it was shiny.
Yeah, it was, and let me guess, it was extra duty, right? It wasn't during normal work hours.
How did you know?
Yeah, because I've been there.
Yeah.
Oh, the memories. Pissing off your command.
Mad Joe shining helmets. Who would have thunk it?
Shining the helmets, yes.
Oh, that's too funny, dude. As soon as you were like, so I broke out the pledge, I was like, oh shit, pledge and tile floors and dress shoes do not mix. Oh my god.
Of course, I don't know if you guys called them heads.
No, in the army we didn't, but then I spent 3 months getting tortured by Marines over in Norway on deployment. And I learned all the terminology from them. So yeah, I do know what you were on about there. It was just I was reading the chat room and somebody was talking about shining helmets and
helmets. Yeah,
it's quite apt.
Do you? What do you guys call it in the army over there? The latrine.
We tend to call it a toilet.
That's kind of funny because you would
Ablutions.
Americans would call it, but they call it a latrine.
We called it the ablutions. You were on ablution duty.
Yeah, no, we called it in the guard because we're all seagoing services call it the head, and then the army and the Air Force call it the latrine.
I remember one douche thought he'd be quite smart for a inspection by the CEO, and what he'd done was he turned his combat bottoms inside out and used soap to get a nice hard crease down the front. But unbeknown to him, it was going to be pissing rain the next day when he put them on. By the time inspection came, it just all big soapy bubbles right down the front of his trousers. So yeah, top tip if you're trying to get a crease, don't use soap.
I had the creases ironed into my, I would, like, because some of the guys would try to do it themselves and wreck their stuff.
After basic training, we were allowed to get them seamed in. It was like, okay after that, but basic was, that was just hell. That was the mind control.
Yeah, you could get them. Well, that later on, there was a lot of people that did that too, but I didn't do that. I would just take it down to the dry cleaners on the mainland, and I would let them, I would, make sure I did it a couple days before inspection, right? Go get it all done up, and I would even keep it crisp anyway. Just I would once every 2 months, I'd take it over and have them check it out and just repress it. But everything was AJ squared away. You couldn't screw with me during inspection. That's why they used to get. That's why because I would go get tattooed without getting permission because you're supposed to get. I don't know how it is there, but
yeah, you're supposed to get permission. But they chucked me out the back of a minivan in Florida and told me I wasn't to come back to base until I had a tattoo. So yeah, go figure.
Well, that constitutes as permission.
Again, trauma-based mind control, man. Great military. I'd recommend it to anyone.
Oh, the good old days. Get a bunch of vets sitting around. Oh. Anyway, break sneaking up. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Final segment of Freaky Friday, the final Freaky Friday of 2014 coming up. Don't go anywhere.
And I'm dying to hear the top 3 songs.
Truth Frequency Radio.
The wicked ones obviously under heavy Masonic influence.
Welcome back, everybody. Joe Joseph here. You're listening to Freaky Friday right here on Truth Frequency Radio, truthfrequencyradio.com, along with Kev Baker, Johnny Whistles, and Popeye. Wow, dude, an ad bot was in the room?
Yeah, it would appear so.
I didn't even see that.
Advertising Google.
That is bizarre indeed.
Google.
I didn't see it.
And of course, the chat room powered by the Kev Baker Show. We'll get on to that straight away.
Oh, damn. Kev's ego is what actually holds, we used as the foundation for the edition that holds where the chat room sits.
Yeah.
When Chris built it in the back half of the property, he was like, oh, the land is kind of not really, sufficient to build on. And Kev said, no worries, I'll just shave off a slice of my ego. Boom, shaved it right off. And that thing is like a solid, rock solid foundation. It's amazing.
I still ain't happy with the compromise we had to come to, though. He wouldn't put on the picture of me sitting astride my white horse, leading us into the info war. But hey, I'll get it there one day.
Yeah, it'll get there.
Big shout out to the KBS crew in the chat room. Much appreciated for hanging about at this time of night, especially in the UK.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's late as hell. And you have earlies, don't you?
I do. I'll be getting up 3 hours after the show finishes. But hey, evil never sleeps, and either do I, it would seem.
Apparently.
Big shout out to Atlas, the god Atlas, for holding up the other half of Kev's ego.
I thought you were talking about the device at CERN, which is getting ready to fire up on double speed. So just watch the
what else what are they going to implode now?
Oh, who knows? But I mean, it's going up from 8 10 tera
Snoop Dogg wants to know.
electrons to 14, almost double power. And
But what are they doing?
Well, they say that although
We're
they have
doubling the power, but why?
although they've found the Higgs
More is
boson,
more. Less
they
is
still-
never more.
They still say there's more in there to find. And you find when you get down to that kind of level, it seems any kind of molecule or particle that they theorize, the power of intent, if they look hard enough, they're going to find it. Are they manifesting these things? They are. It's a hell of a price to be going to.
Yeah, but they spend all this money and all this electricity and energy and everything, and it's like, dude, what are you guys trying to accomplish? We're trying to answer and find out if there really is a God. Really? You guys are like the kids that got left alone with the chemistry set, and shit just got out of control. And now the mom and dad don't know what to do. They're not sure if they should shut it down or not yet. You need to be shut down. You people need to be checked first and make sure everybody's on the same page, okay? We trying to open interdimensional portals here?
Why isn't that in the top 10 of the weird science, Joe?
Because puffy squirrel tails
That doesn't matter. Come on, Puffy. Wait a minute, because I'm not done yet, okay? We've got a couple left. Number 3. You might enjoy this, Popeye. Bigfoot samples analyzed in lab. Says we here at Science don't spend a lot of time covering ghosts and UFOs, but we couldn't resist this study. The first peer-reviewed genetic survey of biological samples claimed to be from Bigfoot and his kin. The conclusions may not surprise you, though, but the reaction of Bigfoot hunters just might. And I guess you got to read about that. I didn't actually read about it, but apparently they've got samples from Bigfoot. Now, you guys have delved into that a little bit, right?
Popeye's the Sasquatch expert. Yeah.
Yes, I talk about Bigfoot and Sasquatch and the like, yes. Do I believe it's real? Totally. There's just too many sightings all over the world.
So what do you think it is, though?
I think it's either I think to a certain extent it's some sort of shapeshifter, or it's able to travel in between dimensions or whatnot. But I do believe it's some sort of man-like creature or humanoid. I don't really know what you'd classify it as. I know what's his name, Meldrum, Jeffrey Meldrum, that doctor. He's trying to see if it's something like Gigantopithecus or something like that. But I just think it's too smart for that. I mean, some of the stuff that it does, I don't think it's just like some dumb wild ape that got stuck in like an ice floe or something and then thawed out later on like Captain America. You know what I mean? And there's too many stories that date back hundreds and thousands of years. I mean, and all over the world, China, all over the United States, they have different types of it.
Well, we perceive existence as, the way we exist. So it's hard to imagine that an advanced life form would be some hairy beast running through the woods. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to envision that. But it could very well be, like you say, you know what I mean? I just, when you start finding things like these, these cattle being drained of their blood and organs being extracted in an extremely precise manner, with like lasers and stuff, Bigfoot then all of a sudden doesn't seem so messed up. Actually sounds quite believable.
Well, just all these different ancient Native American tribes have different versions of what it is, and they talk about it. And there's natives to this day that they can remember their elders and their grandfathers and stuff telling them when they first learned how to hunt. Be careful when you go up into the woods. The ape people, they in Alaska, there's stories that they flip over trees and mark their territory by taking trees that were blown down by the wind and picking them up and driving them into the ground, inverted. And there's people that have gone up there, and you'll see videos of these trees that are inverted, and you can see that there's not like mechanical markings from something that picked it up and did that. So there's like limited marking, like very limited marking on the trees and stuff. Like, so how the hell did the tree get picked up and inverted and driven into the ground? And these old Indian elders or native elders, whatever you want to call them, will say that it's the ape creature things that live up there. So that's how they mark their territory, to let the humans know this is our area, don't come in here. So I mean, there's just too many stories all over the United States and then all over the world itself for these things not to be real. I just think humans are arrogant. When people say to me, well, how come we don't know what it is yet, or how come we haven't found one yet? Because we're arrogant. We think we know everything.
Kev Baker, I have a hypothesis.
Come
I
on,
have a
Joe.
theory.
Go for it, man.
Hairy Nephilim.
Yeah, well, why not? Why not?
I mean, maybe that's just the way they are.
The offspring of some Nephilim and human. It went wrong. Some experiment.
Actually, that was Dr. Pujo that came up with hairy Nephilim.
Why not?
But I thought that was pretty cool. I mean,
bet you
could
wouldn't
very
catch
well
them
be.
decorating their beards with Christmas balls.
With Christmas
that's for
balls.
sure.
Yeah. I mean, they would do it all over themselves, right? I mean, they could like.
He would need more than 12. He would need more than one single bag of 12 Christmas balls to decorate himself. I'll tell you that. You'd have to spend like $10,000 on Christmas ornaments for Sasquatch.
But then you can throw in things like the Chupacabra here as well, if we're going all kind of cryptozoology.
If Merce heard you say that, she would come back and smack you.
I just felt it.
Say that one more time. What was that?
The Chupacabra.
What the hell is the Chupacabra?
It's a kind of cross, kind of like alien dog like kind of thing. It kicks about in Mexico.
No, in
really?
Well, it started in Puerto Rico.
Okay. If we're gonna split hairs over
and it's they call Chupacabra means goat sucker. And they think it's like a vampire little demon thing.
Of goats.
I asked
a lot like a Kev Baker.
I asked Nick Redfern about that when he came on because Merce had me ask him, and she was like, "Hey, she messaged me. She's like, ask him what he thinks about the Chupacabra," and he thinks the same thing she does. He thinks there's a lot more, probably a lot of the things that are attributed to it are more along the lines of Santeria. And people doing these ceremonies, and then they just blame the Chupacabra. And she said the same thing.
Well, then there's of course, the Scotabanga, which is the sheep.
The sheep. Oh, that's the sheep banging monster of Scotland.
Yeah, the Scotabanga.
It looks eerily like Kev on a drunken Saturday night.
I mean, allegedly, I don't know, but allegedly it only appears on a blue moon.
Allegedly, it only appears on a Saturday night after Hangar 18. While wearing a Truth Frequency Radio t-shirt and screaming, "Wherever you are, make it TF bah!"
Absolutely unbelievable.
Yes.
It's the last Freaky Friday of 2014.
It's the last Freaky Friday.
Don't expect us to take shots at each other.
There's a war on.
Oh, dearie me. Well, while we're on, right, come on then. There's a new Montauk creature has washed up as well.
Oh no!
No, not another.
But see that whole thing, that whole Plum Island thing, that actually freaks me out.
Definitely, when you consider what's going on there,
they need to just nuke that thing and call it a day. You know what I'm saying? Like seriously, burn that thing to the ground and call it a day. And now they're like, "Oh, we're going to move it to the heartland." You what? We want to put it in Kansas somewhere. Why?
That where Lyme's disease came from as well, Popeye.
That's what they hypothesize, and there's a lot of evidence. And then. They admit that they can't. Even when Ventura went out there with his show, that can't be show, Conspiracy Theory, they had people admitting that there are people that have gotten off the island, like they've been tainted with stuff, and they got through the decontamination process, and I'm doing air quotes when I say that, anyway, and still brought this stuff off the island. Oh, well, then I guess it's not a quote-unquote secure facility now, is it? Because technically, if it was a secure facility, nothing would be getting off the islands. Okay?
Yeah.
I know we're down here into the technicalities, but, silly me, right? Because I want 100% cleanliness. Oops, me.
Yeah, when TFR take over the world and we get the nuclear football, I think we should target these high secure locations right away. That's one of the first things we need to get rid of. Gone.
Why would I ever use a nuclear weapon when there's so many other cool weapons that they have at their disposal?
Scalar, Joe.
Yes, I would. First of all, I would use scalar.
Plasma weapons. What are you, nuts?
1.21 gigawatts.
Plasma weapons, homie.
Plasma bubbles.
And scalar.
X-ray guns. You could fry the cameras out from a distance. They won't even be able to tell it was you doing it on camera because there's no physical laser beam or nothing. So you could be like playing a video game, walking around, zapping cameras. You could literally make them blind as you walk down the street with a little ray gun. Doop, doop,
that'd be
doop,
awesome.
Doop.
Sounds ridiculous.
Start taking them out.
It's real. I mean, these kind of things we can have a laugh and a joke, but if we were to know half of what they've got, we would probably call it ridiculous. We would say, get out of here. Seriously.
I'm telling you, it's going to turn into like Splinter Cell where people are walking around with little like EMP guns. popping out cameras. I like when you see the people climb up the poles and they just beat the camera off with a crowbar or a little sledgehammer. I'm like, I want to buy that guy a beer.
Yeah, in
Totally.
Germany, that started a bit of a kind of craze. It was a bit of a meme that started going viral all over Europe, in fact, and it was like anti-CCTV kind of graffiti going up, destroying these cameras. Good move, in my opinion.
I think it is a good idea. Interesting question in the chat room. Totally woo question off the subject. Gentleman Skeptic asked, Megalodon still swimming the seas? I had Steve Alton on, a friend of mine who's an author, and he's written about him. He's got a whole series of books about megalodon sharks and stuff. Dude, totally possible. I mean, they thought that Steve brings up a really valid point in the book. He uses real information in his books. But he brings up a good point that they thought those things died out, like I think it was 50,000 years ago, we'll say. And then they were, in the Marianas Trench, they found submersibles found in the bottom of the Marianas Trench, megalodon teeth that date back like only 10,000 years.
That's crazy, Popeye. We're sending probes to go and land on comets 300 million miles from Earth, but yet we hardly know a fraction of what is here on this rock.
Seriously, we don't know anything, dude. And people are like, we know what's in every inch of the ocean. Really, genius? Then, okay, tell me.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Right, you don't know anything.
Yeah.
We know nothing. Seriously, we know absolutely.
Remember that movie Abyss?
Nothing.
Remember the movie The Abyss? Yeah, that's kind of like what I'm thinking.
Like, yeah,
there's
all the old Navy ships from like the World War II battles and stuff that were sunk, and they're all over the vessel. Yeah, dude, totally.
Exactly.
Well, what do you reckon then? Do you reckon there's underwater bases for UFOs and things like that? There's enough talk about these things, Popeye.
Probably. I mean, the Earth is covered with water, dude. I mean, again, go look up, just Google the Earth, what Earth would look like without water. And, through like the topographical satellites and stuff that they have that take all these topographical pictures and stuff and different camera lenses and stuff, they use them to find oil and water and everything else. So they also use it to map out the planet. And there's pictures of what the planet looks like if you remove the water. And where the Pacific Ocean is, where the Marianas Trench is a huge gouge out of the planet. A huge gouge. I mean, the Marianas Trench at the bottom, there's a layer at the bottom where it's like 78 degrees. I mean, that's all the way down. That should be crushing pressures and cold temperatures. You get down to a certain level, and it's jet black and ice cold, and all of a sudden you go through silt. And you go through the silt layer and you come out the other side and you're in this like 78 degree temperature water and you're like, well, what the hell? And there's a whole little ecosystem down there teeming with life.
They feed off the underwater volcanic kind of
hydrothermal
activity.
vents that come up from the core of the planet. They come because it's so close because, again, there's a huge gouge outside of the planet. You just got to look at what it looks like. This is so close to the core of the Earth. And so deep in that this, or deeper towards what like through the crust, you know what I mean, towards the core, mantle, whatever the hell, all that heat comes up through these hydrothermal vents and it heats the water. And from the energy in the heat in the water, life takes place. So, I mean, it's possible
in some of the life, though, Popeye. You see some fish and they've actually developed or evolved into having almost light bulbs in front of them, so that they can attract in their prey.
Dude, those things, anglerfish, are creepy. That's what they call it. They look
horrific.
like, dude, but they're hurt. If anybody's seen what Kev's talking about, they're the fish that they look like a nightmare, where it's just a mouthful of teeth and a big, like, soulless eye. And then what they do is they sit there all quietly with their mouth agape, and they take this. They have a little antenna that sticks off their head, and it glows with like whatever fluorescent crap is in it. And then fish come over and they go, oh, what's that? And they come over to try to eat it. And then when it comes over, the fish comes up and tries to bite the little angler, that's why they call it the anglerfish, like it's fishing, the little thing the little bait, whatever you want to call it. You can see its mouth and it slams its mouth shut. And its mouth is just this cave of razor sharp teeth and this huge soulless eye. Like,
I mean, how does that just spontaneously come about? How does that evolve into that?
Well, I mean, it's got to live in that harsh environment.
It's
so
mind-boggling, though, isn't it?
But think, if they found a megalodon tooth that's only 10,000 years old, that means that there were sharks down there that lived for 40,000 years. That means there was other things down in that trench, and there still very well could be, that if you have so people understand what a megalodon is. It's great white. It's a great white shark's ancestor. Megalodons were like 70, 75 feet long. Picture a huge semi truck or a shark the size of a semi truck that's alabaster white and just swimming through the seas and just is an eating, because all, like Richard Dreyfuss said in Jaws, all sharks do is eat, swim, and make little sharks. And that's all that these things did, was eat, swim, and make little sharks. And they ate a lot. I mean, it's like a bus. Picture a Greyhound bus swimming at you, ready to eat you. Where do you go? Like, you thought Jaws was scary. Jaws was like 20 feet long. This thing could eat Jaws as a snack. They were at least 40 to 50 feet longer than what Jaws was in the movie. And
doesn't worry me, Popeye. I would just throw it the sheep.
Right? Well, dude, it would eat you, the sheep, the boat, and anybody else that was out there. I mean, these things were just immense. So, if they did live and they only found something that's 10,000 years old, the question is, what the hell did they eat? And maybe they finally ate everything that was there, and that's why they're no longer there. And maybe they aren't any longer there, but maybe they are. I mean, for us to act like we don't know. I know that the ideas of monsters and stuff, a lot of people will say, oh, well, it comes from people's inner psyche and stuff. I don't know, because they thought the giant squid was nothing but a myth, and then 2 or 3 years ago, they actually caught one on video, and the thing was enormous, and they were like, okay, the giant squid is no longer a myth. Now we know it actually exists. So
you
now
know that Jurassic Park is actually real. The Rothschilds probably own it. They probably
do,
mammoths and all the rest.
Would you want to bet that thing probably does exist? There probably is like a real Isla, whatever the hell.
It wouldn't surprise me, man. Come on, would it surprise you?
Did it make the list?
No, because we only have 2 things left. We got number two. Number 2, Black Death left a mark on human genome.
So what we done was we went and dug it up and reanimated it.
Says the Black Death may have decimated Europe nearly 700 years ago, but it's still leaving an impact on people today. A new genetic analysis helps explain why Europeans respond differently from other people to some diseases and have different susceptibilities to autoimmune disorders. And that was one of the more popular ones. But the number one story of 2014, biggest cloud seeding experiment yet only sparks more debate.
All I gotta say is, for people that think that geoengineering is not real, you're a fool.
You're a fool. Meteorologists first conceived of seeding clouds as a way to increase rainfall in 1946. Working at General Electric Laboratories in Schenectady, New York.
Yep. And do you know what happened? The lawyers stopped them because they were worried that if they let them do it, they were going to cause some massive catastrophe and GE would get sued. So they gave the technology to the government. And that's how the government started to get the technology with weather modification.
So it's been about 60 years. Now the result of the most scientific study of cloud seeding done yet are in. Researchers found that seeding clouds with droplets of silver iodide does slightly increase precipitation, boosting levels by 5 to 15%. However, experts disagree about whether this small increase means cloud seeding efforts should be expanded.
Even though there are commercial cloud seeding companies that get paid by cities and counties every year to seed the clouds and make it rain, and they do.
Weathermodification.com.
Not to mention the geoengineering annual conference that was in Cologne this year where they were actually proposing this thing. No, we're chemtards.
Dude, you do realize that geoengineering, like for all the people in the UK that make fun of you guys, like over there, I hope the UK people that like, you chemtards, you know the first experiment took place in England, out in the UK. You know what they did? They accidentally flooded out into, what was it, 2 or 3 villages or towns.
Oh, yeah, dude. They dumped like 2 feet of water in like 24 hours.
Yeah. So, chemtards, back in the 50s, the UK government flooded out like 2 or 3 towns. Yeah, they were playing with the weather.
And that's 5 to 15%, they said. BS.
Right. That was like 60, 70 years ago. But Kev and all the UK guys that talk about chemtrails. They're chemtrails. Oh, wait, maybe I should look at my own history books. Duh. Sorry.
It's crazy, isn't it?
I just can't stand people that are like, it's condensation. Okay, sure. That's why I saw the same exact chemtrails and stuff over Amsterdam, and I have pictures and video.
Well,
when
what
we were
I
walking
see here,
around.
what I see
But no, it's
here
not a
in this,
worldwide thing.
what I see here in this study, though, is it basically saying that cloud seeding's basically a dud.
Yeah,
it kind of says that, that there's no real purpose for it, so,
But this is like the
yeah.
ghosts again. I think we can't just say that this cloud seeding is for one thing.
That's it, dude.
I think there's so many different aspects to it. There's military aspects, there's mapping.
I've had it.
All sorts.
I'm pissed. I'm headed right for headquarters. I'm going to get my flaming sword and my dragon. Who's with me? You ready? I've just had it. So.
Oh, yeah.
Because it wouldn't be closing out 2014.
But you got to
if I
get
didn't
Kev
bring
on
this.
his white horse.
Flambo.
I'm on my huge dragon right now. I'm just going to take everybody out. I'm just tired of this. I'm done.
I can't believe you broke out the Dragon Force.
Come on. Let's go save the princess. Kill Sauron. Get this over with. Right? Come on. Get your dragons. Let's go. Okay. I'm done.
Oh, yeah, that's good music right there.
I did that for the listeners. I know they wanted it. We haven't done that in a while. We haven't had crappy music wars.
Is this actually the hangar? Have I gone into some kind of time slip or something, man?
It's the end of the year Freaky Friday. We've done very well. We've behaved ourselves. We have not gone down to the levels that Hangar 18 does.
That we could, and we all know we could.
Yes. And yet somehow Hangar is one of the most popular shows.
I still can't figure that out. It's only complete, though, when we have our sister, Melissa Melton, there. I must agree. She adds a kind of different dynamic to it all.
A wee bit of flair, if you would.
Yes.
You get that little lassie fired up and it's over.
Brilliant.
I love getting Mel fired up.
I've seen a video they put up on Truth Stream Media, Aaron and Melissa, and it was about you guys giving the gift of death this Christmas. What's that all about? You can give, Christmas cards and a flu shot?
Oh, yeah, you like that? You can give, gift certificates for flu shots. I'm sending one. I'm going to send one to you.
You would give your worst enemy that, Popeye. You really wouldn't.
Dude, seriously, here, Merry Christmas. What's in there? Possible death, some maybe autoimmune problems. I don't know. Hopefully nothing.
Can I just clear something up?
You just won't get the flu. Here, Merry Christmas.
Gent Skeptic in the chat room, they're shouting about 3 hours for Hangar 18. Let's clarify, when does this all happen? Is there going to be a change-up with the schedule for Hangar 18?
Yes, there will be a change-up. I just don't know if it's going to be if it's going to be tomorrow or next week.
Yeah, same here, I'm not sure.
I'm not. It's when it's going to be when Chris and Sheree. I'm assuming because they're going to do theirs and then they're doing theirs at the beginning of the new year. So I think that's when the schedule changes for that is going to take place. We can double check with Chris and just keep an eye on the Facebook page and stuff for Truth Frequency or my page or Kev's or Joe's, and we'll let you guys know what time.
Not that me and Popeye flood social media or anything like that.
Right. But yes, it is changing. We're going to go to 3 hours. It's going to go from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern, if that helps you, which that's easier because you guys are 5 hours ahead of time, so that helps you guys figure out what time that is. But yeah, 7 to 10 Eastern Standard Time on Saturdays.
It's just exactly the same time slot as Freaky Friday, basically, isn't it?
It is. It's actually in this exact same time slot, but on Saturdays. And it just makes it better because everybody wanted a third hour. The listeners really wanted a third hour, so
it's not just that. I mean, 2015 TFR, it's going far, I would say. Just watch this space.
Yes, I agree. And with that, gentlemen, we are out of time officially for the last edition of Freaky Friday.
Drat.
It's been a pleasure, guys.
3 hours come and gone, and 3 hours in the sack for you, Kev.
Sure is.
Good night, gentlemen. Thank you. As always, it's an
honor. Good night, everybody.
I'll stand tall in the face of tyranny. I want it all on my freedom and liberty. I'll keep my guns, you can keep your security. I'll stand tall in the face of tyranny. I'll stand tall in the face of tyranny. I want it all on my freedom and liberty. I'll keep my guns, you can keep your security. I'll stand tall in the face of tyranny.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. It's your favourite time of week, folks. It's Freaky Friday right here on www.truthfrequencyradio.com. What a crew I have got lined up tonight. Tonight we've got Johnny Whistles, we've got Joe Joseph, and we've got the one and only Popeye. We're going to do it raw tonight, folks. There's no guest tonight. It's just going to be woo all the way from the Woo crew. So, let's get this lot introduced. Joe Joseph, how are you doing, man?
Hey, man, it is good to be Friday. Let me tell you, 3 hours of talking about some freaky stuff.
Well, before we get into anything, Joe, I think it's quite symbolic that on the day Russia made America enemy number one, that we have resumed our Photoshop war. Yes, that's right, folks. That on social media is going to be flooded with it.
Oh, wait a minute now. Wait just a cotton picking minute. Now, that was just a little motivation for you. That wasn't meant to start a war.
Oh,
come on now.
That's baloney. He's got me tagged as the water boy now. What is that all about?
It was, water's very important. As a matter of fact, life cannot exist without water, dude. Very, very important.
You're trying to give me some kind of Russell Brand Messiah complex right now, Joe, because that's not going to work at all. And for your sins in the Photoshop war, I'm going to make you do the chat room tonight, because I know you hate doing that stuff. So you will give all those great listeners who tune in religiously to the Freaky Friday their much loved shout out, Joe.
All right, let's see here. Aussie Anzac, Bethy Change, Cloud, Crazy Tricky, Daryl 6390, David GK, Foswald, Gentleman Skeptic, Harold Ivy Nurse, Johnny Whistles, John Titter was here, Kai Land, Kev Baker Show, Matt D, Max, Meat Dog, Mystical Fairy, Nos Boy, Penelope, The Poopster, Red Sun, Regal Girl, Rushill Brand, good name there, Scott Lopez, what up, dog? Stushy, The Darkness, Tom 58, Wood Wolf, Bottomer, Angel Whispers. Welcome to the chat room.
You done that like a true professional, Joe. You loved that. Admit it. That's an addition to your show that you really should think of making.
I tell you what.
Got to be done. But also tonight, folks, we're joined by the Whistler himself. How are you doing, Johnny? You looking forward to your Freaky Friday?
Oh, yeah, Kev, I've missed this. Not had it for a wee while now, so, yeah, looking forward to it, mate.
And it's good to have you back on a Friday, John. You're much missed. And last, but definitely not least, my brother over there in Florida, Popeye. How's it doing? It's good to have some sense on the show for a change instead of that, Joe.
Good evening, Kev. And before we get into anything, I have to ask you, what the hell is Boxing Day? Is it as exciting as it sounds? Like, is it random fistfights in the streets like Gentleman Skeptic proposed? Because that would be awesome.
That's the way it should be. It should be like the Purge, shouldn't it? But no, it's just exactly what it says on the tin. You're full of boxes because of the day before, and you're just throwing them out the house. BS.
So they actually have a day. They actually named the day Boxing Day just for you to throw your crap out?
I honestly don't even know if that's why it's called that, but you would have got a good laugh today. I was showing Joe Boxing Day over here. It's traditionally like our Black Friday kind of thing. We have massive sales, so much so that in the land of austerity, Popeye, our dollar shop, the pound store, it's having a half-price sale. And I'm not even making that up, am I, Joe?
No, not at all. As a matter of fact, when he said sign up by mistake, here, just wanted to give it back to you.
When you actually, I have to go round there for a walk around this pound store on my patrol. And the amount of people you actually ask here in assistance, how much does this cost? It's a frickin' pound shop. How much do you think it costs, you absolute retard. That's the kind of level of people you get shopping in there.
Yeah, but Popeye's right. You know, like the bath mats, the stuff like that. Even books. Sometimes you can find some books that are normally like $25, and you get them for like $1, $2.
Yeah,
Well,
you
the
can
ones
get
they've
like
got in
some
there, it's
quality stuff.
it's
Not
like-
all
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is crap.
definitely. But you got to be
But
very
you have to,
careful
like-
about what you get.
You have to take your time. You have to go through. You have to look. And I wouldn't just grab stuff off the shelf and be like, "It's only $1." Make sure you know where it's made and like what it's made. Like a lot of that stuff, if you notice, it has like a heavy, like the cheaper the crap they make in China, you can smell like the plastic. And you can smell like the rubber, like depending on what it is that you're getting. Like if it's a bath mat, the rubber backing on it, you can smell it from like a couple of feet away. Like if it stinks like that, and it just, like, dude, that's probably not good. If it's
Probably
off
not.
the
Yeah,
desk
probably
like
not
that,
so good.
One of the
And-
toys they were actually selling over here at one point, it was a child's doll. Now, for £1, it was said to come with the superpower of having a flaming pussy. Yep, exactly what I said there, a flaming pussy. Now, it gets worse than that, folks.
Wait, are you talking about taking its cat and setting it on fire? Or
Well,
are
you
you
see,
talking about the
let me continue, because somebody went on YouTube and actually opened this up. They unboxed it and showed you what this toy done. Now, to work this toy, and I'm not making this up, I will try and find the video and put it in the chat. You had to tip the doll over so it was on its hands and knees. You then had to lift the skirt up, and then with a match, you lit a firework that was inserted inside. Well, you don't
There
have
we
to use
have
your
it.
imagination.
Oh, just say it. You inserted it inside where the vagina would be on the doll. So
And
if
it was
anatomic-
literally a superpower of a flaming pussy.
But wait,
And it was
excuse me,
at the
how
pound
is this
store.
a superpower for a doll? And what was this, like G.I. Joe's girlfriend?
Are you
was
sure
obvious-
you didn't get that mixed up with the porn store? Did you go in the right door,
no,
dude?
Honestly, dude, because it was the Watchdog. It was like the Watchdog in the UK. There was complaints there. It was obviously rapidly removed, but this was one of the like items they were selling for a time, and I can't remember which one it was. I'm going to dig in here once you take us into
G.I.
some
Joe's
news in a
girlfriend,
moment.
G.I. Jane, and her bazooka shooting pussy. It loads up grenades and I mean, really?
Well, I'm
They
going to
thought
find the
this was
video.
okay
'cause
for children?
we have to play this. I'm going to find the video. So, Joe, what else is on the agenda for this Freaky Friday?
I'm still trying to get over this.
Wait.
this little
At what
dog.
I'm
point
gonna
do you
find
think
it
this
right
was
now.
Okay, the UK won't let you use butter knives pretty much now, and yet they think this doll is okay. What? Really? Where are the morals? What the?
Putting a jumping jack in the yeah.
Dude, seriously, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, you guys can't have any sharp knives because you might stab each other. But hey, we have this new doll out you might like. I think you guys have your morals really screwed up, just to let you know.
Tell me about it. And let me tell you something.
Whoa, guys. I have
What?
found it. I have found the video. It's only 3 minutes long, okay? So give me 2 seconds to turn off the stream. Just got that sorted. Right, listen into this, guys, because this is it here.
Yes, it is.
It's just loading up.
Oh, sure.
Typical. An advert. You got to wait these 5 seconds.
You got 300 meg download.
People who put adverts on their videos, it's disgusting.
It's pop-up blocker.
Woke up in the delightful tap at Penlandu, and I found something that really caught my attention. It's actually a dolly. Now, I'm not really the sort of dolly type of person, but this one caught my attention because it's apparently called Fanny Flambeau, and she's part of the Smokin' Pussies gang. Right? So apparently her weapon of choice is a flamethrower, and seriously, that doesn't really look the type, does she? So I thought I actually really want to find out what this flamethrower she has looks like. Ooh.
That I was like, damn. I mean, even over here, we don't have sales at the dollar store. You know, the true dollar stores. Now, Dollar General and those aren't real dollar stores. The dollar stores are where like things are really just $1.
Literally,
You never see
everything is $1.
Yeah, you don't see sales there. It's $1. It is what it is. You get what you pay for.
Dude,
and
you're
everybody
paying
knows
$1.
going in there. Yeah,
Yes.
everybody knows going in there that's basically the way it is.
You're
So for
paying
them to-
$1 for whatever you get. Like, don't come out bitching like, man, this is kind of cheap, dude. You
Yeah,
paid
well,
$1
for there to be a sale like that, right, would mean that there are either like a glut of dollar stores or pound stores over there, and the competition's so fierce that they're trying to cut the legs out from underneath everybody.
It's like fast food restaurants. They're popping up everywhere. Aren't they, Johnny Whistles? It's like the subways. Can't turn a corner now without coming across one of these pound stores.
Yeah, pound stores and the charity shops, Kev. Everywhere you look now, even on like main streets, do you know what I mean? Like in Socky Hall Street, you've got pound shops. Do you know what I mean? How can you afford the rates for a pound shop in Socky Hall Street?
Get this. Okay, so again, in my days as a transportation maintenance manager for a large trucking company, one of my customers was a dollar store distributor type of person. But this distributor owned 2 warehouses in China and was getting this stuff for pennies on the dollar. I mean, like, so for if you bought, let's say, a dollar store, that personal care brand deodorant, right? You paid $1 for it. Chances are he paid a nickel for that. That's about what he paid, a nickel to 10 cents per product.
Yeah, that's why they can sell it for $1. And
because they're making a mint.
10,000% profit.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And everybody's like, oh, what a bargain. No, it's not. That deodorant probably has antifreeze in it and other toxic waste.
It's the worst. The only thing that's good, like if you go to the dollar store, a lot of times, like when you go to Dollar General or something, they will have stuff that you would normally find at like Walmart or somewhere else for like certain things. Like if you need like those Glad the freezer containers and stuff, like those things like that, like kitchen-y stuff like that. Usually it's a little bit cheaper. Bath mats and stuff are a little bit cheaper, but only by like $3 or $4. Really, I mean, there's nothing. The bath mat, like you can go to a Dollar General and pay $10 for a bath mat. So technically, is it really a Dollar General? Like if you go to a real crappy ghetto ass dollar store,
like the Dollar Tree,
yeah, like going in there that like you don't have any expectations when you walk in the door.
No, none.
Okay, like you don't walk in the door thinking it's Macy's. Okay, and if you
absolutely not. But you know you're going in for cheap Chinese crap. You know you're going in there for that, so that's what you get. But you don't understand how these distributors that supply the dollar store and all that, even dollar store itself, probably owns a bunch of factories over there and is getting this stuff at pennies on the dollar, to where I mean they're making an ungodly profit margin. And today, dollar store is huge.
I think at half the time it's probably containers that have washed up from things like Fukushima and things like that they're just selling off cheap, Joe.
Well, you got that
probably
too.
Radiated.
Or
you got that too.
Thrift store.
Here we used to have like Woolworths, McCrory's, the 5 and Dime that used to get all that crap. You know, the near expired crap. There's a couple of national chains here like Ollie's. Ollie's is one of them. But dollar store, no, it's not like that. That's more of like a Big Lots, that type of thing. One of those odd lots type of stores here in America. Dollar store is strictly, for the most part, all Chinese crap. And you know, like none of it's, or most of it's not name brand. You might get some name brand like the candy, but no, not, you know, it's really bad. So I don't know if there's much of a difference between the pound store and the Dollar Tree, but I don't think they could actually get away with doing a sale. People would probably be like, ma'am, I think you have this sign.
Instructions, little pink instructions, that's nice. Here she is. So I don't actually see a flamethrower yet. She's got little pink shoes. We'll stick them on her. Right. So stick them on just to make her look the part. Oh, maybe we just won't. So anyway, what does it say? Made in China for the Togimi Fushita Toy Company, authorized Flaming Pussy's Power Girl merchandise. Fanny Flambeau is the flaming hot leader of the Smoking Pussy Gang. Special power, shooting flames to vanquish her foes. This must be some Japanese program. Well, obviously to Togima Fushita. It's a Japanese company, so it doesn't really surprise you, does it? To activate a flamethrower, place her face down with her arms outstretched and head in the ground. Then raise her thighs above her head as shown. What? Right. So, arms outstretched, face down, what the... Okay, that's not dignified. That's not flamethrower. That's vanquishing her foes with sex. Lift her skirt. Oh, for God's sake! Lift her skirt to expose the flamethrower, and light.
The commentary is the best part.
A safe distance from the area directly behind her. You don't. Maximum smoking pussy girl power. You don't. It's a toy.
He's beside himself.
At this moment, he's taking a lighter to her bum.
As her skirt's gone on fire, I don't know if that's what's supposed to happen. Shit! What the fuck is that about?
And now a Roman candle is flaming out of her flambeau.
So who does she fight? Like, who's the
who's the villain?
Like, is she like G.I. Joe's girlfriend? And like when Cobra attacks, they just take the flaming pussy gang and put them on the top parapet and then open fire? Like, how does that work? Who are they? Who the hell are they fighting that they have to shoot fireworks out of their vaginas? Like, dude, who's your enemy?
Ron Jeremy by the looks of it.
Well, they didn't judging by the fact that it was in the pound store, would tell me that they didn't get that far. They got the superhero down, but it looks like they ran out of money to go with the rest of the story.
It's one of those ideas that was shot down by Hasbro. They were just like, no. And the guy's like, what do you mean, no? This is a brilliant idea. No.
What's wrong with you guys? I think every household needs a good Fanny Flambeau.
A Fanny Flambeau.
Oh, my God. How many house fires would be caused by that thing on Christmas morning?
I don't know. There's something serious. I have to tell you, the United States is more messed up than a soup sandwich. There's just no doubt. But the UK, you guys have your own quirky crap going on over there. That's all I can tell you.
He says to a country living under a reptilian monarchy. Yeah, you're telling us, Joe.
I mean, just a little bit.
But didn't he say it was made by the Japanese? Which that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it's the Japanese. It's called Fanny.
Yeah, but they do all that crazy crap
too. They have vending machines with used little young girls' panties in them, like teenage girls' panties in them, and you can just go up on the street and buy them out of the vending machine. They remember the plastic eggs that, like when we were kids, if our mom went to the store and bought pantyhose or something, they would come in those eggs, and she'd take the pantyhose and give you the plastic egg, and you'd have the hollow egg or whatever, little container. Well, that's what they sell the panties in over in Japan. You buy them out of a vending machine. So this does not surprise me one bit.
This isn't really a creepy conversation with a guy with a beard like yours, Popeye.
Listen to this.
Oh, sorry.
The guy that drives the windowless white van.
Sorry, I thought we were on the hanger. Sorry, Papa.
Kev drives a windowless white van, and he's going to criticize me about my beard.
I'm too busy fetching water for the likes of Joe Joseph and...
I saw that, by the way. I saw the picture, the first shots of Photoshop World War II.
You know what the worst of it is, Popeye? I mean, have you got the heart to tell him he's actually crap?
Oh, wow. So not only did Germany just invade Poland, but then it took a dump on Poland's front lawn after it invaded and was like, you suck. That's basically what just happened. So Photoshop World War II, game on.
Unleash the Kraken.
Yeah.
Why? Wait a minute. Now, why does it have to go that far? I'm just asking.
We're children.
I didn't start anything. I'm just motivating you.
I can see this, by the way, because I already know, I'm not involved, and somehow I'll be like the United States. right, in World War II, somehow I'll get Pearl Harbored, okay, out of nowhere.
So you want involved then? You just don't want to tell anyone.
Okay, so anyway,
There's an
does this
invite
sound
show.
eerily similar to one Kenneth Webb? Do we not remember? Oh, come on, guys! I want to get in. I want to get in.
Oh, remember, he was begging to get involved because he was like,
I done one of him, and he just totally shut up after that. I done him with all his legs wrapped around his head, and there was no comeback.
Well, it's hard to do top that.
He was fighting internet problems at the time. He might not have seen it. Fair enough.
Oh, he did. He did.
So I got this.
What else is on the agenda?
Well, I've got this thing about, since we're talking about how messed up the UK is, the rampant pedophilia and the flaming pussy dolls and everything like that. Well, we've got the doctors. See, over here, they've been told that they have to question now. Well, Mr. Popeye, is there any guns in the house? It's the latest thing here in the United States. Over there, it's, patient number 14297. Yeah, they're overweight now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're told to report patients who put on weight to the National Health Service.
Well, see, that's just Britain. It gets a whole lot crazier when you enter the realm of the EU, because on the 18th of this month, they actually came out and classed that obesity is now a disability.
Really? So everybody can go on the dole?
Oh, how to make an entire army of people dependent on the state in
You
one
just got to get fat.
Yeah. Well, you can't say that because you'll be discriminating against somebody disabled.
I'm not, though. I mean, what if I wanted to be one of them? What if I aspired?
So now you guys are going to look like, fat Americans. By the way, something else I didn't see in Amsterdam, fat people.
You didn't see fat people, did you? Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I mean, and if there was somebody that was like a little overweight or thick, they were proportioned well with it. Even if they were a little thicker or whatever, it wasn't like the obese people you see here in America.
Yeah, Popeye, in times of austerity, that heroin chic looks in.
No, I mean, true. But no, they were normal. I mean, these people ate tons of crap food. It's Amsterdam. You've been there, greasy, fried foods, all sorts of foods from all over the place, dough, pizza, waffles, donuts, whatever you can get your hands on around the place, right? But yet, there's a lot of people that are in really good shape, or at least, they wear it well, right? Whereas here in America, you didn't see a stomach falling over someone's belt out of their shirt, or someone that's like 300 pounds wearing the spandex pants that a girl that's 100 pounds would be wearing, and proud to be wearing it because, I show off my 300 pounds.
That is a total American thing right there, dude. No doubt.
You don't see that over there. I mean, there wasn't people that were just like sloppily disgusting. And I'm not making fun of you if you're overweight. You know what I mean? Like when you go to Walmart at 3 o'clock in the morning and you see people that are just like society has gone down into the sewer, and they're happy about it. They don't care about what they look like or their health or anything. And you don't see that over there. And it was something that really hit me. I was like, wow, there's no fat people here. I mean, there were people that might not have been in shape or might have had a belly, but there was no like obesely fat people there. And it's because they don't have the same crap in their foods that we do. Now, I'm not